sunlight begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Simracersworld TV and the Simmortal Simracersworld TCR series for the final round of the championship, round 23 from the Nurburgring, the very famous VLN layout which combines the incredible Grand Prix circuit and the monumental Nurburgring Nordschleife. And joining me in the booth tonight is Hasse Roma for his debut in the series. Hasse, how are we doing, mate? Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Jess. I'm so excited to be here in the booth with you tonight for this final round of the TCR series. I've watched quite a few of these races actually, and it's been very nice action so far. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm expecting to see some good racing on show here tonight.
Yeah, especially a lot of corners for these guys to get themselves around and have some good scraps. We've got a 1 hour and 15-minute race ahead of us this evening. Plenty of time for these guys to get the job done. And of course, that all-important thing at the moment for us to think about is the championship standings. So, as things are at the moment, we have an overall championship to think about. I do apologise, it's just come up on screen before I wanted it to, so that's gone well. I'm just going to try and grab the standings at the moment for you because we did update these beforehand. We have the pro standings in the championship. Here they are. Miguel Freitas leads. Oh, apparently we've got the word short name in there for everybody. That's gone well, hasn't it? I swear to you, Hasse knows as well, just as well as anyone else, that this software does hate me, doesn't it, mate?
It certainly does, and it's it seems like once you've gotten on the wrong side of these technical things, it really can come back to haunt you for a long time. It seems, but from what I've seen so far, Freitas certainly been impressive and making it show at the top of the standings. So it still seems to me that it's all to play for. So we're in for a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you'll all hear me frantically typing in the name of these drivers right now as I go through this, just so we can give you the right info on it. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you guys know how the championship stands. Miguel Freitas does lead the way from the one and only Lewis Ward. As it's been branded, it's the Tame Iberian against the Silent Assassin. And Mr. Ward, well, he's been insane this season. Freitas, untouchable when on track. And don't forget, he missed the first 2 rounds of the season as well. So it's just incredible performance from him. There you go, you can finally see the points. So it's Freitas and Ward with Delmont in 3rd in the championship after a good showing at Alton Park, only 4 points ahead of Mark Woodhouse. And it just shows you all the way down there, Hasse, just how close it can be with the rest of these guys.
Indeed it is. And very good action from yourself there, fingertip action, Chaz, on the typing there. I'm impressed by the pace you put in.
100
pace
words
can
a
be
minute's
more
got
than
nothing
on-track
on me.
pace shown by you. But yeah, it's such, as you mentioned before, so many corners. This track is just different from any other place to drive on because you never really seem to get into a rhythm in the same way that you do on shorter tracks. You don't have that kind of muscle memory work into it. The concentration is a must, and keeping it is very hard indeed.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities around here to get it wrong and put it in a wall somewhere. We're just going to bring up the AM Championship as well, which has been rounded out already. Carl Jacquelet has become the champion for Year 1 racing with 530 points ahead of Lee Deemer. Because of the drop scores in this championship, it basically means that there is no chance for for Lee to take the title away. He still has Liam Silkstone just behind him, but again, I don't think there's going to be any challenge from him there. The guys are just out in practice at the moment. We're going to have a quick look here at Mark Woodhouse, who is on the circuit. I say that, and it's just as he's come to a stop. So we'll look at your AM champion, Carl Jacquelet, in a moment, as qualifying is about to get underway. And because of the nature of this circuit here, Hasse, they've only got a 20-minute session, which means they'll get 2 laps in, won't they?
Yeah, 2 laps indeed, and that means that it's even less than you'd get in a regular iRacing session when doing the long races here, where you often get half an hour or just about 3 laps. But with the outlap, everything, it's going to be just about 2 laps, and it's going to be all important for position. It's a track where you really can see some big old gaggles forming up because it's so hard to overtake on the Nordschleife. It's narrow, it's fast, and it's very risky indeed. So that's, I think, is always in the back of the mind of any driver coming here in qualifying to really put in a good lap. But weighing that in with the risk that always presents itself here, it's a tough one.
Yeah, certainly. And like you say, track position is going to be so vital for these guys around here. It's going to be pretty frightening to try and get the best advantage they can. We've got a lot of people in the YouTube chat at the moment. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Jack Werrell as well, our very, very impressive colleague. Good evening, Sebastian Herbert. Marv Goes Racing is shouting for Ben Thayens as well. Jody Setters is in there as well, and Chris Moretta. Ian Fox, I tell you what, Ian deserves a shout out of his own. He's been such a great regular on the streams this season. Awesome to see him again. We ride on board with Miguel Freitas then at the moment for Team Mad, and he's got plenty of time. Oh, I say that though, he's actually just pulled off the circuit here. Hasse, what do you reckon's gone on there?
Well, that's a good question actually. He might be wanting to not have any traffic in front of him, but I think you could be finding other ways of doing this. This might be also, could be a technical issue, come to think of it. Might be perhaps pedal steering wheel related, or something popping up, messing with the iRacing window maybe on the PC. That would be my first couple of guesses, maybe. Let's hope it's nothing too serious for Miguel.
Oh, to be fair as well, Miguel actually does have, he's been suffering from tendinitis recently. He's been doing a lot of these races one-handed because of the pure pain of it. But I mean, the talent he's been displaying has been absolutely second to none. He's still been winning races, qualifying at the front of the grid. It's scary, the talent this boy has. So hopefully it's not something relating to that, whether he's just injured himself even further, or just had a bit of a twinge or something. I'm not sure what it could be, but fingers crossed we see him racing properly this evening. Here's his teammate Mark Woodhouse getting the job done at the moment. Is Mark absolutely flying around this circuit, and we've got some nice conditions here as well, Hasse. Not too harsh in terms of the sunlight in these drivers' eyes. It's quite low lit at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see how dark it gets as the race goes on. Of course, it's over an hour until the end.
Indeed, and track temperatures of 19 degrees, so nice and cool. We expect pretty grippy conditions, pretty friendly, if you will, for the drivers here tonight. And I think you'd want that for them, because it's, as we see, oh, that's a huge save, actually.
Lewis Ward
for Meraki Racing. That was, I think he just floored it and just hoped for the front wheels to do their job, and indeed they did. Very well done there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of these TCR cars. The rear end can get quite happy when you've got it on a bit of a loose setup, especially on cold tyres. So maybe he's just thinking, oh, let's scrub a bit of rubber off these rears and just swing it in. And he seems to have done that. He's got his teammate Andy Hopley behind him. We have to give Andy a great shout out as well. He's the prime organiser of this series, and he's done an unbelievable job all season. He did actually just help me out with the paint pack within an hour of this broadcast starting. And he's been constantly on it. The amount of media and things that Andy's put out all season have been amazing. So as we always do, everybody, clap emojis in chat, please, for Andy Hopley. I know that you all like a clap emoji, especially when I'm in the box and telling you to do it anyway. You all behave very well, I'll give you that. The reason for updating the paint pack as well, I'm going to name names and point fingers. We look at Andy Fox here, who has a split livery between an everyday blue Audi RS3 and the RS3 LMS TCR car in the slightly camo Audi factory livery. He told me that he was going to put this in directly for tonight. and it's certainly an interesting looking one, isn't it, Hasse?
Yeah, it is. It's I'm not, did you say camo? Because I'm certainly not seeing any camo on this one. Just see the Audi Custom Sport number 221, but
okay. Oh, it might not have loaded properly because the paint pack was done right near the end. So if you haven't got it in time, then that's my bad. We'll move on. We'll move on. Lee Diemer here in the XI iRacing Orange machine. He is second in the AM Championship at the moment. He's going to want to take the battle to Carl Jacquelet as this goes on. And to be fair, he's running ragged throughout the whole season, but Carl just broke away in the mid-season and just kept that points gap, which is, you know, it's all you can do in these championships. Just behind there, Ben Thanes for G-Drive Racing Exemia. Of course, RevMatch Esports became G-Drive Racing Exemia, and Ben, to be fair to him, isn't a fan of giving me team names that are easy to roll off the tongue. It used to be RevMatch Esports UGX Belgium, and now it's G-Drive Racing Exemia, so long team names seem to be Ben's. He's only got two syllables in his name, so I suppose he makes up for that in team names, doesn't he, Hasse?
Yeah, he does. He certainly, even when looking at his short name in the software, he fits nicely with the grid. So thanks for that, Ben. We do appreciate some order in our stuff here. But looking at these TCR cars with the slippy rear end, especially under braking, how much are we going to see in terms of, well, I hardly even want to say it, because as we know, there is a curse that seems to be bestowed by us bootheners, if you will, and yeah, we don't want to tap into that even, but here at the Nordschleife, I think we'd be hard-pressed to imagine the entire field finishing, but I am physically now crossing 4 fingers for all of the drivers. Let's hope we don't see too much carnage.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Here is Fraser Smith, someone that's been lighting the world for me recently in this series. He's been a joy to watch. Since he put that full send livery on that car, we've all said the same thing, that he has been flying. Don't know what sort of vinyl they've put on it, but it is absolutely on rails since he's changed to full send racing, and he's doing an awesome job. He had a rough start to the season. It was improving in the midfield, well, sorry, the midpoint of the season. Since then, he's just been an absolutely amazing. His pace has been incredible. He's been constantly fighting for wins. Look at the car bouncing all over the place down there. Awesome stuff. It's so much commitment from these drivers. And of course, in the TCR car, you can smack it into the curbs a little bit. You've just got to be careful of the bounce once it does come back down to earth. But really, really good stuff from Fraser Smith. Hoping that he can put in a good show tonight and get some good results, but you know, it's a long race. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. Do you reckon we're going to see the field spread out quite quickly in this one, Hasse, as people take it quite easy, or are they going to stick together in packs and try and take advantage of any little mistakes?
I think it depends on how qualifying goes for the drivers with the highest pace in the field, so to say. If we do see them getting good laps in, we should expect then it could be stretching out, but it's really hard to say, and it's all about finding that elusive rhythm here once you get going. So it's a tough call to make, I think. And I think if we call it that it's going to spread out, they're going to stay close. And if we say they're going to stay close, they're going to spread out. So I'm looking at Fraser Smith here, this full scent livery. I actually kind of like this.
Yeah.
And I know you and Jack are very much livery men. I think of myself as a livery man myself, and usually these type of, shall we call them youthful energy drink-ish liveries, they're not always my passion, so to say. But this one I think is very well done, actually.
Yeah, the sort of sometimes the messier livery with the more stuff on it, they can be a lot more exciting to look at, genuinely. And you know, I like a simple livery. I like just the odd stripe here and there, solid colours, but I think stuff like that really does work, especially with the matte effect on it as well, and a bit of gloss here and there. Certainly does stand out, despite it being a black car, which usually, you know, they blend into a field quite well, but the green highlights do work on it. And one that doesn't really blend in much is the Simracersworld Esports TCR car of Matthias de Tige and his teammate Gregory Vranks. We want to make sure that these boys put in another flying formation performance, as I call it, towards the end of the season. All season, these boys have been stuck together. The amount of times they've crossed the line, been in a battle together, just nose to tail, is countless. And I think we may see that again tonight, but the two Belgians will certainly be on it. Just touching back on the commentator's curse that you mentioned as well, Hasse. We have to mind out for my special curse that I have tonight, where I'll be watching a driver on the camera, and we'll be going, oh, he's doing well, that's a good little battle he's got going on there, and you know, oh, he's made up the place, well done. As soon as we cut away from it, they'll have a crash, they'll go off the track, they'll lose a position. So you never know, we may see some of that tonight, I think, but hopefully not. But, well, you can see Detige here really warming up his tyres quite aggressively down the straight, so I'm not going to cut away from him yet, because otherwise we'll come back and he'll be in a fence somewhere. He genuinely would
be. At this place of the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This final section, though, you know, lighting it up down here and getting a good run is very important down here, isn't it?
Yeah, and this braking zone as well, coming into this final chicane onto the start-finish straight, literally seconds can be made up there if you have the confidence, the courage, and the skill to brake late and still carry the right amount of speed through and get that very good exit onto this long straight. You can really make up time against someone who isn't as confident coming into there. So and you'll find the Nordschleife in general being very different than basically any other racetrack in the world, because usually where gaps are measured in, you know, hundreds or tenths, maybe half a second here and there, this is the only track in the world where you'll be seeing gaps in the lap times of 5, 7, 8, 10 seconds, maybe even, without huge skill gaps in the field, just because it's such a difficult place.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, even people that are used to the Grand Prix circuit, obviously we're using this shorter version here. These guys came here earlier in the season to just the sort of shorter layout of the Grand Prix circuit, and it was very, very difficult for them. And this is a very nerve-wracking time now, you know. These guys have got to think about every single incident point they get. I've seen that a couple of guys have gone off track. Philip Hopley, Jeremy Hessel, Scott Angelo, Dean Timms. Dave Cyrus has just gone off the circuit as well, actually. We'll have a quick look at what's happened to Dave. Don't forget, oh, he's actually just sort of parking it on the exit. I think he might be waiting for somebody there. He's letting Andy Fox go through, so nothing too bad for him there. Yeah, he's actually still on a lap now. But, you know, they've got one opportunity to get this wrong, and that's it. You know, it can go wrong very, very quickly around here. You just try and push it too much through one corner. That was a great shot of Delmont just shooting by. But, you know, like you've said, Hasse, it's very tough around here. These guys make one mistake, and that's it. If you take it too easy, though, over the course of a lap here, I mean, it's nearly 9 minutes for these guys. You can lose so much time in one go, can't you?
Yeah, indeed, and I think also there is a certain point where you want to keep yourself on somewhat close to the edge, where you can keep the concentration, where you can really get into the groove as best as possible. If you relax too much, chances are, at least that's my experience from driving here at the Nurburgring, it's so easy to just relax too much and just, you know, wander off in your mind and start thinking about something else, and all of a sudden you touch the curb and whoop, you're on the wall, and that's your race over.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Jeremy Hessels is off the circuit and he's lost a wing mirror. He's put it in the wall, and that, I believe, is going to be the end of his qualifying. Let's see how he did that. He was just behind Adam Delmont, who we were looking at there. Oh, he's gone wide and he's on the grass and it's going to go around. Oh, he nearly keeps it out of the wall, but quite a hefty hit, and that's going to be the end of his session, unfortunately, and he is now sat in the pit lane. So is Scott Angelo. Here is Miguel Freitas, then championship leader over Lewis Ward. We do have the stats, by the way. If it doesn't come down to penalties for points, for example, for incident points, if they go over 13, I believe it is, or if it's not down to fastest lap, without that, Lewis Ward needs to win the race with Miguel Freitas in 5th position. So as long as Miguel can qualify well and keep it up the order, then he should have this wrapped up, and Lewis Ward will be under a lot of pressure to perform around here. Going into a finale like this, Hasse, what do you reckon will be going through their minds at the moment? What will be the key sort of factors they're thinking of?
They will be trying to keep cool, calm, and collected for every bit as long as possible. Even through qualifying here, try not to get too excited. Try to keep a level head for what's to come. Especially these opening laps can be very hefty indeed. So I think that'll be the main priority for all of them. Of course, going into it as an attacker, opposed to as the leading driver defending his lead in the standing, it's always a little bit different. And I feel like you always have a little bit more to lose when you're defending a lead than when you're attacking it in this sense. So that could be a little easier for Ward to just tune into an all-offensive full send, as we're watching the full send car, kind of mode where he just, he's just gonna put all on one plate and just go for it. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, oh well, he wasn't gonna win anyways.
Yeah, he gave it a shot. You've got to take the chance to try and win the title at the end of the day. If it's there right in front of you, you've got to go for it.
And I think for Freitas, it's going to be that much more difficult to get in that kind of zone. But from what I've seen so far this season in the races I've been watching, and from what I can hear on you as well, Chas, he is talented, to say the least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did anyone say Robert Kubica, by the way? So I think it's going to be. I think we're going to see Freitas settle into a comfortable rhythm where he's still perfectly able to keep up. He knows he doesn't have to win this race, and that alone takes a bit of pressure off him. So I think my judgment is going to be that I expect Freitas to keep his cool and to carry on through with this one.
Yeah, he's not going to beat everybody on the grid. He's just got to beat most of them tonight, rather than Lewis Ward has to win the race to get that much of a points advantage over him. Unless he gets the DNF, of course, he's got to get 50 points. But to do that, you've pretty much got to be in the top 3 or top 2 anyway, with penalties and other sort of point deductions taken in. So really, he does have to win it. As we're watching Fraser Smith now just come towards the end of a lap, he's going to be the first car to cross the line, and then we'll have the times coming through on the left-hand side of your screen on the timing tower. I can't believe 16, nearly 17 minutes has gone already. But I imagine it's been a pretty long session for these guys, knowing they're only going to get one lap out of it. Just behind these guys, of course, is the man in question, Lewis Ward, and then his teammate Andy Hopley there, as they go under the very famous gantry that everybody uses to time their runs when they go to the Nurburgring and run around the Nordschleife, or put it in a wall, as one of my mates did. We've got to keep our eye, though, on Fraser Smith. And like we were saying before, Hasse, this last section, like you say, you've got to really have the bravery, or the man fruits, as I'd say. But also, you've got to have a setup that can react to it if you want to brake late. If you've got a loose setup that's going to try and over-rotate, you're going to be fighting against yourself every single time you come through here, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. You really need a car that you can work with and not against. And that's very much a thing generally for this track. Is setup is all important, and you can find yourself bleeding as much time as really the skill gap would really present you with. 5, 6, even more seconds just on a setup that doesn't really work here, because there's just so many corners to lose, and it's bumpy and it's narrow, and it's setup very important here at the Nurburgring, and it needs to be the perfect. There's a reason that all the major car manufacturers come here to test their sports cars, their sporty road cars, and so on. And I think that translates very well onto what you need for a racing car as well.
We've had an amazing pair of times there by the Meraki cars, Ward and Hopley. First and second, Hopley taking the pole position at the moment. 4.5 seconds faster than Mark Woodhouse. Here is the man in question, Miguel Freitas, just coming round the final few corners. McNally's crossed the line and gone into 4th place. He's done an 8 minutes 49.3. Just trying to see if anyone else. Ben Thanes is about to cross the line and complete his lap. Well, not had any AMs across the line yet, though. All the pro drivers gone out first. Where's Ben going to go?
He's going to go...
Oh, wow.
7th?
Wow, yes, 7.4 seconds off there, so not the best time for Ben Thanes. We do have to keep our eye, though. Oh, Liam Silkstone's about to become the first AM to cross the line. We'll see whether he slots in. He's there, 9.3 off the pace. 8th overall with an 8.56.84. And to be fair, I mean, you say 9.3 seconds and people go, wow, that's a long way off. But around a track that's 9 minutes long, you've got to look at the sort of realistic thing of it. He's only 0.3 off Jacqueline, actually, who's won the AM Championship.
It really isn't all that bad in the end, is it?
No, definitely not. So here is Freitas then. Cross your fingers, cross your toes. I'm not going to tell you what else to cross. Freitas jumps across the line, Does he do it? Let's have a ganders. He does, top of the pile by 1.7 seconds. Well, if that's not a message to Lewis Ward, I don't know what is. Detige goes 5th with an 8 minutes 48.6. But I tell you what, Hasse, a lot of these guys actually aren't coming out anymore. We're only going to get about 11 or 12 that have got a lap in here. We are.
Interesting. That's very interesting to me. That's around half the field only getting
definitely
sitting here on in qualifying, and I just wonder whether that comes down to people having had incidents here and there and having had to tow back to the pits to restart and thus not really having been able to. I mean, tricky on cold tires, but that's certainly a bit of a surprise.
I was expecting a lot more of them to get laps in than that, and it seems that it's only, I mean, no disrespect to any of the others, but it seems like it's only the important sort of top 10 that we usually get that have managed it as well. So it's a bit of a shame that we haven't had more of them. I mean, we only got 2 AM drivers getting laps in, Carl Jackalette and Liam Silkstone. How the rest of the grid is going to be determined, I'm not sure, but we're going to let the session tick over now. It should take a few minutes, of course, so we'll make the most of it and ride on board with Dave Cyrus in the XI iRacing orange car. And you can just see, even in a TCR car like this, where they make it look so simple from the outside and so elegant, they really do fight these cars around here, don't they?
And they really do, and I guess pretty much every car around here, and especially these low downforce cars that depend much more upon the mechanical grip, is going to be more of a fight and more of a wrestle with the car as you feel the limits of the grip and ever adjust to just make it through another turn at the Nordschleife.
Yeah, it's not quite the case of, oh well, it's planted to the floor by 2 tons of downforce or whatever. It's you really have to think about every single little bump or every little piece of track that may unsettle it slightly, and it's not easy to judge it all the time, because as the race goes on, it's been 9 minutes since you last hit that last piece of track. As Cyrus there, heart in the mouth stuff there. I thought those wheels were going to clip that grass then, and that was going to go around. Wow, I came out my chair slightly then. That was really close stuff. But as I was saying, it's almost 9 minutes since the last time you've been around that corner, and the car, the tyres, the conditions could have changed massively in that time. So you've really got to have your wits about you. It's not like you're doing a small circuit where it's 50 seconds a lap and you keep going around every single corner again and again. These guys aren't going to get long in this race. We're probably only going to see about maybe 8 or 9 laps, I think, if my maths is correct. It usually isn't, so we may get I'd say less than 10 laps around here, definitely. Although actually no, that'd be 90 minutes, wouldn't it? So we're getting a 75-minute race. Oh, apologies for that there, everybody. We seem to have just had an issue there. Are you still there, Hasse? You still got me?
I got you now. Yeah, I had a bit of a break off, but I'm back again.
Yeah, but, that was an issue my end there, everybody. I apologise for that. We had a sudden drop in that. My dashboard on OBS has just gone absolutely mental at me. We were getting 6 bytes per second, sorry, 6 kilobytes a second, and then it spiked at 11,000. So my internet clearly becoming my best friend as this season goes on. We've had a few disconnects towards the end of the championship, which I will completely apologise for over and over. I don't want to cause a bad viewing experience for everyone, but this is technology. We're in a time where everyone's at home, everyone's using my juicy bandwidth, so I don't want any issues with that. But here we are, we're still here, we're still going, and it's good to see Cyrus still going around, because while the session's counting down, Hasse, they have to use this as practice, don't they?
I think that would be the wisest thing to do, indeed, and to just stay in the zone as much as possible and to keep yourself ready. So that, I think, would be my approach as well. I think Lewis Ward just has to be a little bit annoyed with himself that he couldn't have gone 2/10 of a second faster on that lap to get onto row 1 alongside Nico Freitas. That would have made his life a bit more interesting there. Not saying you can't go from 3rd to 1st like that, boom, but Yeah. What 2/10 at the Nordschleife? That's like 1,000th of a second somewhere else. It's really cool.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you everybody that's still in the YouTube chat at the moment. 41 viewers on there currently. We are also live on the Simracersworld TV Facebook page as well. So thank you everybody for tuning in at the moment. We hope you are enjoying yourselves. We're just watching Miguel Freitas cane it around this circuit at the moment. The man that is potentially soon to be champion, but not if Lewis Ward has anything to do with it. He's going to fight him tooth and nail until the end. Around the carousel, very iconic corner. And in a front wheel drive car, I imagine that's not the most comfortable of places to drive a car, is it?
No, it really isn't. I could imagine it's going to be a rather shocking ride through that section of the track. Generally, with the front wheel drive cars out here, this really just requires so much patience on the throttle because too aggressive and the car just will not turn. It will not go any faster, and that's really the key with these front wheel drive cars, is being aggressive while being smooth at the same time. And as we say that, even Miguel Freitas has a bit of a moment here in the section that Hans-Joachim Stuck mentions out as separate the men from the boys. I think that downhill section there, it certainly is one of the very, very most tricky parts of the Nordschleife.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, I mean, I'll say it now. One of my favourite combinations on iRacing. Everybody has their favourite car and track combo. I really enjoy driving the Nissan GTP ZXT, the old Group C car around here. Call me as mad as you want, but I am. Especially at night. It's very, very focusing at night. If you want to, strangely, wake yourself up, drive the Nissan GTP ZXT around here at night with a H-pattern shifter. You will come out of the other side of the Nordschleife, if you make it, a completely new man. It's unbelievable. Or woman, if you want to give it a go. But it's frightening, it's exciting, it's amazing. We're still waiting for some of these guys to... Well, the session does take a while to tick over here, obviously knowing how long a lap is. So we do have another minute or so, I believe, of this. Just watching Adam Delmont now get another lap in. He crosses the line, and it is actually letting these boys crack on with it. They are actually getting more laps in, so Delmont's gone up to 9th place with an 8:53.6. Dave Cyrus didn't complete... Oh no, Dave Cyrus is still on his lap, sorry. So the rest of them didn't actually complete it originally, but here he is then. Whether he's going to get there in time, I don't know, but at the end of the day here, Hasse, if he gets the time on the board, he's going to be ahead of half the field anyway, isn't he?
He certainly is. Just getting a time in here is going to be worth it for every single bit of road that he's covered, because it's going to put him right in the middle of affairs. And that goes for Adam Delmont, who was out before. There was actually both the Excite iRacing cars. So interesting to see. And I'd like to know why they've left it so late, though, to get a lap out.
Yeah.
That goes for half the field, basically, but I'd still like to know.
Yeah, it is an interesting one because, you know, some of these guys went out there, they tried to get a lap in, and then after one, they probably thought, oh, well, the session's over anyway now, but these guys have clearly taken advantage of the fact that iRacing lets it tick down. You can see that Cyrus has had an issue on his first lap because he's only got one wing mirror, so it's battle scars of the green hell. But here he goes then, round the final corner. It'd be real horrible fate if it just ticked over now and he just disappeared, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Cyrus crosses the line, and he puts it 13th on the grid. He's 27 seconds down, so he's had a bit of a nightmare around there somewhere. But yeah. I think to say that you're half a minute quicker than someone would be quite an achievement, but around here it's probably like only being 2-3 seconds off the pace. But that will be the end of the session now. It just says qualifying is finishing. So in just a moment we will bring you your grid for the final round of the Simracersworld TCR Series Season 2. And it's been an incredible championship so far. I've been very, very pleased to broadcast and commentate on all of it. Of course, some special guests along the way. Having Hasse in tonight as well is brilliant. We've had Paul Smith join me as well for a couple of races at Alton Park a few weeks ago. And Hasse will be working more and more on Simracersworld TV coming up, won't you, mate?
I really will, and I'm so excited about it. It's been a bit of a wait coming in since I settled on joining SRW TV, which I'm very excited about. Did I say that I'm excited? But But no, I've been like just gaining more and more excitement basically into the body here over the last couple of weeks, and I just got my new PC and it's all running, and everything is really coming together. I think that so. I am, strangely enough, very excited, and I've really been looking forward to getting into this commentary on iRacing. I've been doing quite a bit of work on Gran Turismo Sport before, so can I say this feels like the real deal, just as it does when driving it. It's gonna be real nice.
Yeah, certainly. It's good that you can make the transition over from it. It is good how different sims, they have different methods of being able to put out a broadcast. There's so many factors to it all, isn't there? When it comes to these broadcasts.
Yeah, there is, and I think iRacing. That's a good one. But indeed, I was saying, iRacing really allows for another level of putting the broadcast together in terms of production, in terms of the customizability of camera angles and all that stuff, which is just endless. I mean, once you delve into that, it's a rabbit hole, and it's a deep one indeed. So on that point, you can really get a lot out of iRacing. I feel like that's my initial sensation of it, having boxed around a bit with it. So on that side of it, that just gets even more exciting to do because you get more free hands in terms of creativity. You can do even more with it, and what's not to like, honestly.
Yeah, it's very in depth when you really get into iRacing, the amount you can do with it. Of course, we want to thank SDK Gaming as well, the software that we use for the timing screens and the overlay. It's an incredible bit of kit. I'm sure everyone will agree. It makes the broadcasts look very nice and tidy and professional. I use it in all of my work at the moment when it comes to iRacing, and I'd completely swear by it, to be honest, because it's awesome. Apologies for the lack of action on screen right now. We are just waiting for this qualifying session to finish. It is just having to tick over for quite a while because it's the Nordschleife. It expects that people will still be on a lap, so it's going to be a few more minutes until everything's all finally sorted out. But it gives us a chance to have a nice look at the beautiful circuit that is Nurburgring. I've never actually been, and I'm quite disappointed in myself for it because I really should get over there. I was going to go to the Sim Expo last year, but things came up, so I wasn't. But once the world returns to normal again, if it ever does, I'm sure if we get another Sim Expo there, I'll be attending. Have you ever been to the Nordschleife, Hasse?
I have not been to the Nordschleife. I think I have only been to Jyllandsringen, the best racetrack in Denmark. Yay! So, which doesn't really say that lot, and it's not even. It's like 2.2 kilometers long. It's a very short track. It's like a sweet, cuddly small dog that you can pet on the head. Oh, it's like cute. But certainly the Nordschleife is more than a bucket list thing to do before I grow too old to go very fast around there in a car.
Yeah.
Do that with someone else driving or trying it out for myself. I have to go there somewhere, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It really is bucket list stuff. If you're into your motorsport, it's all about getting to the Nordschleife, and we all want to go there and have a look. There is your grid, finally then. Miguel Freitas puts it on pole position, the all-important pole position from Andy Hopley, who surely is going to help his teammate Lewis Ward in third place, with Fraser Smith fourth. Third row of the grid, we have Matthias Dettige and Adam McNally. Gregory Vranks joins Mark Woodhouse on row 4, with Adam Delmont and Ben Thairns rounding out your top 10. Following them is Carl Jacquelet, leader in the AM class and champion of the AM class, with Liam Silkstone in 12th. Then we have Dave Cyrus, the last guy to set a lap, with Lee Deemer, and then apparently commentator behind, which I believe is our race director. Then we have Jeremy Hessels, Scott Malcolm, Ryan Walker, Scott Angelo, and Andy Fox rounds out your top 20. And at the back of the grid, we have Dean Timms, Philip Hopley, and Lee Woodburn. And things are going to get underway in just a minute or so. We are going to have a rolling start for this one. You can see the iRacing Porsche safety car there. The 911, the wonderful 911, looks great in that livery, which is a nice take on the Porsche Motorsport colours. But I tell you what, not a massive grid with 23 cars, but to be honest, Hasse, I think that's going to be plenty around here with the action these boys have thrown up this season.
It is. It most certainly is, and I think it's gonna even just ease off the worst of the pressure from some of the drivers, especially in the midfield, because things can get very spicy when looking at 40, 50 car grids here at the Nordschleife. So some of those drivers might be having just a slight sigh of relief that the grid isn't larger than it is. Let's see if they can uphold the prophecy and keep it clean here for the opening bits of the race.
And you can see in front of us there, the tame Iberian himself, he even has the hashtag on the back of the car. Miguel Freitas starts on the front row alongside Andy Hopley. We're here with Lewis Ward, second in the championship at the moment. We'll just show you the points once again before this all gets underway. There's only 12 points between the two of them, and it couldn't really get any closer. Lewis Ward was leading the championship before we went to Barcelona, Catalunya, and then that all changed with 2 race wins from Miguel Freitas at a very important time of need, especially after an issue at Alton Park and some issues there. We have Lewis Ward lighting up the fronts, really trying to get some temperature into them. And well, this is going to be an incredible finale to an incredible season. I hope you're all strapped in. I hope you've made sure that all of your organs are in the right place, because this is going to be a wild, wild ride in these TCR cars. Look for Adam McNally and Matthias de Tige as well on row 3. These boys have been very exciting, very elbows out all season. McNally, of course, took the first 2 wins of the season back-to-back at Brands Hatch, but since then has not had a race win, and is very deserving of another one because he's put in so much effort and such great skill into this season. It'd be a shame for him not to get that again. But you know, this is all about these guys at the front. Miguel Freitas then, your championship leader, Andy Hopley for Meraki Racing, and his teammate Lewis Ward is right there in the hunt. Fraser Smith as well, another exciting one that we've watched all season. But we're about to get under the way then for an hour and 15 minutes around the Nordschleife with Chaz Draycott and Hasse Roma on Simracersworld TV. And the Simortal Simracersworld TCR series is underway. It's a bit of a messy start there on the left-hand side of the grid, and Hopley has lost his spot to Lewis Ward. So Lewis now goes into second, and it's exactly what he wants straight off the bat here. Although his teammate goes back round the outside, Andy Hopley. Oh, there's contact between McNally and Fraser Smith. McNally really loses out there, and he's gone down a couple of positions. He's got to just get his head on here and not worry about it, because it's not a sprint race, and you know that's where these mentalities are going to come into place, aren't they, Hasse?
Exactly my point, Chess, and it's not the best of starts there for McNally. He would have hoped to keep the outside lineup, but a slight nudge between the 2 cars seemed to just send him slightly wide, and it was costly for him indeed. Freitas still leading Ward, Hopley third, then Smith, de Tige, Woodhouse, Franks, McNally, and Delmont. That's the pro ranks at the moment. And then I think, Thanes is of course a part of the pro ranks as well. Then Carl Jacquelet, Silkstone, Cyrus, and Lee Deemer in 14th place at the moment.
And of course at the top of your screen, if you haven't seen it before, the green strips and the blue strips on the left-hand side. McNally's just gone onto his own green strip there, actually, on the outside of the right-hander as they come onto what would be the back straight now for the Grand Prix circuit. They're just about to go onto the Nordschleife now. But the 2 classes we have, Pro and Am, the Pro Championship is not wrapped up yet. The Am Championship is, and we have Carl Jacquelet as the race leader in that there in the Year 1 racing car. You can't miss it, trust me. And he is leading the class in the race as well. Lewis Ward has actually just gone around the outside of Miguel Freitas. He does not give a damn. He's getting his elbows out early on here. He wants to make the message very clear to Miguel Freitas, and into the lead goes Lewis Ward. Very decisive stuff there, Hasse. What do you reckon?
Indeed, brilliant. I was watching if we can get another look at that move, because I'd like to see just how he managed to get his car in that position and go around the outside. That is not a place where you'd Freitas, there was a bit of a bad run coming out of the chicane. Oh, and they go too wide onto the Nordschleife and then into the Hudson-Bach section. Gets the run there on the outside. That makes a little more sense to me than Lewis Ward, though. Brilliant. Very opportunistic here. Early days, cold tires. He takes advantage of half an opportunity there to gain the lead.
That was incredibly gutsy stuff from Lewis Ward. And I'll tell you what, if you go on to win a championship from a manoeuvre like that, you look back on things and just think, yeah, that's exactly why I've won this championship, you know, moves like that. But Freitas won't let him have it easy. Definitely won't. We're looking here at Fraser Smith and Matthias de Tige, and just behind these guys as well, we've got Mark Woodhouse with Adam Delmont all over the back of him as well. The car's just running wide down there. We saw Dave Cyrus have a bit of an iffy moment around there before. Oh, speak of the devil, he's actually had a genuine moment. Oh, he's gone straight on into the hairpin, and that's a big hit into the wall. I think that's going to be race over. Oh, no!
Oh, that's a double casualty there.
Philip Hopley's just gone straight into him.
Where did he was at the...
He was at the back. Oh, he's lost it on the grass himself, and then the car doesn't want to stop. And unfortunately, Dave Cyrus, wrong place, wrong time. You can't not laugh, really. But that's such a shame for these boys. Race over already. And hopefully they can get repairs and get back out there. But, well, that's a bit of a shame for the two to come together. We've got Dean Timms and Andy Fox all over each other here, just with Scott Malcolm in front. Bit of a windy section now. You've got to be very careful to put a move down the inside here, because... you know, as you get with all of the Nordschleife, you don't want to be putting too much of an aggressive move on people, just in case you make that contact. And the track can get very, very quickly blocked, can't it?
Yeah, it can. It's when you get too close to the car in front, as you see here, these three very close to one another. The leading car here makes the slightest of mistakes. Chances are that the two cars behind aren't really gonna have anywhere to go, as we see. Ooh.
That was Dean Timms there, just giving the barrier a little kiss, and Andy Fox goes through. Not sure what sort of damage Dean would have got from that, but it was quite a side-on hit to the front left, so you might think the car would be okay. Looks a bit understeery around there, but you never know with these TCR cars because they're quite understeery as it is. Oh, Scott Malcolm's lost it on the brakes now. He's gone into the wall. They're just dropping like flies here, Hasser. It's only lap one.
They really are, and might be the cold tires catching him out. Was there any contact there? No, he caught the curb there on the inside. The bounce that you mentioned earlier. It looks good when it's West Coast rap videos. Not so much there for the TCR cars. And
you're absolutely
but yeah,
right.
Indeed, quite a bit of calamities here on the opening lap so far. Stuff very close indeed here. It's Matthias de Tige holding off the Meraki car.
And Andy Hopley, of course, wants to get back up there. He started second on the grid. He had a bit of a nightmare on that left-hand side of the grid when they got going. And this has unleashed Fraser Smith as Miguel Freitas has gone back into the race lead, obviously using the slipstream to his advantage down the inside of Lewis Ward. And into the race lead goes the championship leader, and things swing his way once again. Fraser Smith could be an interesting one here to watch, though, as just behind Woodhouse and Delmont. I can't believe that. They can't have been side by side around there. That's insane stuff from these boys. They don't care, do they? They're just going all out here for the final round. They want to get this underway and crack on with a good race. But this is the thing. If this field is going to spread out here, Hasser, they really need to get on with it, don't they? And make sure that if they're going to make moves, they get it done now before they've got a huge gap ahead of them.
But the thing is that the field is also going to stretch out as a result of all this battling going on in the midfield, which, as we all know, of course, it seems to slow you down, and quite a bit as well. That was a gutsy move we saw there before. That is not a too wide corner usually, and I was just... I'm telling you, Chaz, I had my head shaking in disbelief there for a second or two because that looked dangerous indeed. But well pulled off. We've seen some excellent racing. I think I've had my expectations filled in already here on lap one. We've seen the closest of stuff. We've seen a couple of accidents, which is what we have hoped not to see, I think. But given the pressure that's on for some of these drivers, it was inevitable really now. With Freitas back in the lead, I would have expected Freitas maybe just to say, okay, well, you can have it. You can have the race win. There's no real reason to fight for it. But I like Miguel's way of approaching this. A true champ. He wants to race for every bit of a lead there.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to just go for it now. There's no point holding back. You never know what it could cause further on down the line. We've got a great view on board here of Ben Thayens in this final section of the circuit. Just shows you how difficult it can be to follow around here, though. You know, these TCR cars are big old bricks. So when you're trying to follow around a narrow circuit like this that's so oscillating as well, all up and down and all over the place, it's a very 4D circuit. So much left and right and up and down, especially here over the jump, the car bouncing around on the limiter as well. These guys are trying to stay flat around there. But one little mistake, one sort of hesitation from the guy in front, if you have to slow up more than you would imagine that you'd want to going into a corner like that, you know, you can easily spin the car or just run wide, clip the grass, and then you're in a wall and it's race over, isn't it?
It really is. And that section, the Bell of S's, is so difficult indeed. I find it to be one of the very most challenging. The section from the crest, where a lot of cars get so unstable, into the Bell of S's, the very fast run, and then to the Schwalbenschwanz sector. That's just, that's on a knife's edge, and that's every single time. And it really is a question of confidence in the end, as we're watching the top three being, well, dare I say, closer than close here, as Lewis Ward is going to have a run. He has a nice bit of overspeed on Miguel Freitas. Question if Freitas going to send it right back here through the kink. They are possibly looking at staying side by side into this final braking zone here. Oh, Freitas just... He's not having any of it. He's really racy today. It's absolutely a pleasure to see.
It's just, that was mind games there. Lewis was probably thinking, come on, we can work together here. If you just let me in front, you know, we don't lose anything. We can just break away with Fraser, try and just have our own race. We can decide this championship ourselves. Fraser sticking with him. Oh, Lee Deem has gone off the circuit. He was leading the AM class before that. Jacqueline goes through. Ryan Walker avoids him and goes round into second. But as I was saying, Freitas there could have easily just backed out a little bit, let Lewis go through. Fraser probably wouldn't have pushed it. I know that Fraser's a very sensible driver. He's taken a really good approach to this last half of the season. But, you know, these are racing drivers, and Miguel really wants to drill that message home and say, no, we're not working together. This is an all-out fight. As McNally has just had an issue here with Ben Thayens. Oh, they're 3 wide. Let's have a look at what goes on here. Oh, contact with Woodhouse and McNally. McNally was just trying to give the two of them room. And there was a little tap to the outside, and now Thayens and Woodhouse side by side as well. Great scrap between these four, but as we said before, Hasse, all this going on means that the guys in front, and Adam Delmont especially, who is now 2.7 seconds up the road from this, it's just going to get bigger and bigger, that gap, isn't it?
For sure, with all this fighting, they're not going to be catching up to the guys ahead until they let it settle down. And perhaps if there is a bit of a scrap developing ahead of these guys, they'll have a chance of coming back at some point. And that's very much the dynamics of racing on a track like this. So
you can see the two orange cars now attracted to each other in colour. That's not social distancing. We got a message in chat a moment ago just saying that it's nice to see Fraser Smith just holding back from that battle there and observing social distancing rules, just to make sure that he was 2 meters away, which is nice. Oh, big slide there by Vranks. Thayens goes down the inside, takes his fellow countryman. Through he goes. Although he's not giving up here is Gregory Vranks, and to be fair, it wouldn't be Gregory Vranks if he did give up. Oh, Ryan Walker's had an issue. Ryan Walker's had a bit of a topsy-turvy season. He's had a lot of incidents here and there. And when he's not had an incident, he's had a good result. Look at the bounce that thing got on there. That really wobbled about, didn't it? Takes cones with him and everything.
yeah, and he almost managed to actually keep it going, and he was... oh, and there's another incident there. That's Jeremy Hessels.
Hessel's in the wall. Oh, that's a big hit.
Jeremy Hessels. I was saying for Ryan Walker almost saved it, then just lost it as the tail of the car got a little fishy, you could say. And here Jeremy Hessels now get the car's turned around. He's back in last place after that incident, and that car does not sound good to me at all.
No, he's going to have issues with that now. It was a massive hit on the front right. It may not have crumpled it that much visually, but the overriding sort of physical damage in how that car handles will be enough to potentially see him go back to the pits for repairs or retire from the race. This is gutsy, isn't it? Gregory Vranks on the outside of Ben Thayens there through the fast left. I don't know how both of them made that there, because I wouldn't put one car around there, never mind two. And now just behind, McNally's trying this on Vranks as well. We'll go on board down the hill. Look at this feisty stuff. I tell you what, I thought these boys were going to go into tonight a little bit reserved and just think, yeah, it's an hour and 15 minutes. We've got plenty of time. They're doing it like it's a 10-minute sprint race, aren't they?
I feel like you can really feel that it's not too long ago since we've had the Nurburgring 24-hour race. It's not too long ago since we've had the SRW 4 hours of Nurburgring as well. Many of these drivers seems to be quite familiarized with the place already, and thus really sandy here. And that's Gregory Vranks getting on the outside of Ben Thayens. Question is it going to be more than a look? I don't think so. What we saw before was also Vranks having a look there. And in turn almost compromising his own position from Adam McNally behind, and that's a good example of how you have to keep careful when attacking the car ahead in order not to ruin your own defensive position from the car behind.
Yeah, you really got to take it easy now, and that's what these boys need to do in a scrap like this. You know, some beautiful lighting effects as well there from iRacing. The track reflecting looks absolutely insane. But you know, in a scrap like this, you're not just driving to chase the car in front of you. You've got to think, if you're going to compromise your line in a corner, like you say, if you come back out of that corner with not as much of a run, then you're going to lose out massively, because there's a lot of sections here, especially the one that we're about to go on to as we're on board with Ben Thanes. Well, I tell you what, we're not going to go on to it with much of a run if you're hitting a wall like that. Gregory Franks is going to try and take it around the outside now. McNally wants a piece of it, but there you go. There's the exact example that you needed, Hasse. He just tries to have a go, compromises his line, and McNally's through, and he's going to get 2 places from that.
Yeah, because Ben Thane's got a bad exit indeed, and now Gregory Franks is going to be looking inside of his compatriot here. I think that's into back. It is.
Just makes it.
And Franks gets through indeed. Now another compromising position there. It's is that Woodhouse?
It is, yeah. Yeah, Mark Woodhouse is coming through. Is the one headlighted bandit. Mr. Manfruits, as I call him as well. He's really getting the Manfruits out here as well. He's been amazing to watch this season, is Mark Woodhouse, and he just says, yeah, you boys are going through, I'm going to do it as well, stuff it. I've got one headlight, I don't care. He's just going to go straight through with him. And Ben Thanes is thinking, flipping heck, boys, I only tapped that wall, what's going on here? But look at this view now. We'll go on board with Ben Thanes. You can just see how close this is to here. They're all braking just to make sure they don't lose out on anything. Playing it so safe. I wonder what we'd look like if we saw this from a chopper cam. There you go, through the forest. Beautiful shot then as they go through. And I wouldn't dare race this close with everybody, but you know, these guys know it like the back of their hand. They're incredibly talented with this car. It's just awesome to watch, isn't it?
Tell you what, Chess, that is an amazing shot of 4 cars within half a second of one another there. Beautiful racing indeed here into the carousel they go.
Looks amazing. I'm sat here almost giggling to myself at how good this looks. It's just incredible. And like I said before, I was expecting a bit of a reserved approach from these guys, but they don't care. They're absolutely on it. We've already done 15 minutes, which is the scary bit, and we've got an hour of the race to go now. When they've got to start thinking about tyres, how do you reckon they're going to get on? Do you reckon that they're going to really shred them at this point, or will you see people take it easy and hope for some pace at the end?
I think it's easy to fall for the temptation of just pushing really hard when they're fresh, but ultimately, if you go too hard early days, you are gonna suffer in the final bits of your stint. And I was actually wondering, because I'm not too familiar with actually driving the TCR car. So in terms of fuel chest, do you reckon they're gonna be able to go the distance on a single tankful, or will they be needing to pit?
It's not something I thought about, to be honest. It probably should be, seen as, you know, we should be informed commentators and know exactly what we're on about, but I'm not sure, because I've not really got any experience with these TCR cars and endurance races as such, other than the Bell Car event, and I can't remember whether they pitted earlier than everyone or after everyone. So I suppose it's one of those moments where we'll just have to wait and see if anybody cracks. I think they might have to pit, because with it being an hour and 15, I doubt that a tank will last an hour. So we may see some of these guys come in. Scott Angelo's just gone off circuit there. He's managed to recover. Luckily, he's not gone in a wall or anything. Keeps it on track. He's got Dean Timms and Ryan Walker just in front. Ryan, of course, recovering after that earlier incident. Liam Silkstone just ahead has also gone on the grass. But if you can go on the grass around here and not put it in a wall, you're doing well, aren't you?
Yeah, you've done well. You've done well indeed. It's going to count as a good save if that's what you're going to be able to limit it to, because chances are, touch the grass, you touch the wall as well here.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many sections where the wall is only a few feet away from the grass. You can see it there as well. You know, there's not much runoff. If you put it around, the momentum of the car is going to put it in a barrier. Further up then, Andy Hopley has got Matthias de Tige right behind him. Fraser Smith's ahead of him at the moment. This is getting closer and closer. It's also close for the race lead. There he is. Lewis Ward pushing Miguel Freitas all the way to the bridge. Fraser Smith has dropped off a bit.
Yeah, I was just about to say, where is Fraser Smith? But he then appeared over the crest of the hill there and behind. I was just afraid that something had happened to him, but of course not. We would have been well informed there, and
just controlled through there, isn't it? It's just, they're absolutely on it, these pair. You can tell they make the car look so planted, and there's not a thing between them. But obviously, at this point, Miguel's laughing. He doesn't want an incident. He doesn't want to battle too hard, as Lewis Ward does the fastest lap of the race. But he's got to just think, you know, Lewis could make a banzai move here. I could just get out of the way, let him do it. And if Lewis messes it up, then, you know, that's his championship messed up. But Miguel could finish 5th in this race, which from here is 8.2 seconds back, and still win the championship. So that gap's only going to get bigger and bigger as we've had another issue for Jeremy Hessels. Oh, wow, look at that thing. Oh, I think he's just given up.
That car is...
He gave up and pulled the handbrake, did Jeremy, bless him. He's had a bit of a nightmare around here. I think he's just... Is he going to be drifting it for some fun? I think he's trying to... Yeah, he's just drifting it for some fun. He knows his day's done. He's just thinking, oh, stuff it. Let's rip the handbrake and have a bit of a laugh with it. We'll see it again as he wobbles around. The front right is very broken. And he just thinks, oh, stuff it. Let's just pull the handbrake and put it in the wall. Clap emojis in chat, please, for Jeremy Hessels, disposing of his RS3 LMS TCR at the end of the season, thinking, I don't need it anymore. Franks goes past Woodhouse then in this epic scrap that's still going on. A little bit of contact there. He thinks, oh, I like them side skirts. Can I have one? But it's just, they're all over each other. Absolutely all over each other, and I love it because it's proper touring car racing. We've got almost an endurance format going on. But these guys, like I say, they think it's a sprint race, and they're still giving us an epic show here in the Simracersworld TCR series, aren't they?
Very much so. You just saw the car of Woodhouse as he made the pass before on Franks. And as I say that,
commitment.
Franks absolutely sends that into the chicane and makes the pass right back. He wasn't having none of that there. Gregory Franks back up into 7th place.
That was
brilliant stuff. The racing's been so good here, just on lap 3, and that means we're about 20 minutes into the race now.
I'm just going to go back and look at this commitment from Gregory Franks through the chicane, because I wasn't expecting him to make that, to be honest. The speed that this thing goes through the chicane is absolutely unbelievable. He just barely slows it down, chucks it in, a little bit of a bounce on one curb, stuff it, go on the other one, bit of oversteer. He lifts at the end of it, granted, but I'll tell you what, that was a hairy ride there with Gregory Franks. And, you know, he's pulled a gap on Mark Woodhouse now, and he's going to get chasing after Adam McNally again. So this is the fun stuff we love to see. I'm just checking the AM class battle, actually. Lee Deemer has retaken the lead in this class. He's just done that as well over Carl Jacquelet. Let's have a look at what happens here. Does Carl make a mistake? Oh, the car gets a little bit out of shape. Like we said before, he does well because it doesn't go in a wall, but he's now in an Excite Energy sandwich, and trust me, that probably isn't as tasty as it sounds. He's now got to defend from Liam Silkstone. And just
tough. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say, just as a disclaimer, if you are putting energy drinks in your sandwiches, there's something wrong with you. He's got Andy Fox behind as well in that split livery for tonight. And, you know, even though these guys have got the AM Championship wrapped up, it's worth every single point to them, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. As we saw before there, Jacquelet got loose into Hudson-Bach. That braking zone, that very braking zone, so easy to get it wrong there, because every time you get it right, you feel like, oh, I could brake 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters later here. And then when you try to do that exact thing, you end up locking up, end up just having a bit of a slide with the rear, the car gets unsettled, and there is just so little margin for error at that place of the track. So
yeah, especially the speed as well. The speed you're doing down there, no matter what car you're in, even if it's an MX-5, you know, you think, oh, I could just go that bit later, but it's easier to get it just get it slowed down earlier, and, you know, think about your exit than brake too late and then your race is over, unfortunately. Scott Angelo's gone off the circuit again, makes it back on though. He's done all right there. Andy Hopley's just passed Matthias de Tige a little bit further up the order as well. Oh, Matthias does what Dean Timms did earlier. Catches that curb, it pulls the car to the left and kisses the wall. And Andy Hopley goes through now into 4th place. Dean Timms actually just mentioned him. He has gone off and hit the wall again here. Looks like quite a big hit. No massive damage on the car. Let's have a look as he caught the grass on the brakes. Oh, the back end just doesn't want to behave. It understeers wide. Oh, it was only a slight tap on the wall, actually. It looked a bit exaggerated when we jumped back to it, but that was okay. McNally is attacking Gregory Franks now. This battle's still not finished. And Gregory, of course, has caught up to the back of him now. We'll go on the gearbox cam, actually, and just see how Gregory slipstreams back into action here, but with this section of the track here, Hassa, it's about every single thousandth and each bit of momentum, isn't it? Because it's while there is the odd corner here and there, it's a very fast-paced section of the circuit, isn't it?
Extremely fast, and really so important to focus on your exits here, because it's going to be all important for either keeping up or being dropped. Of course, here you need to keep momentum. Also important not to scrub off too much speed here. We see Gregory Franks with a very good run, and they're actually beginning to run away from Woodhouse and Ben Thayens in behind. They say that Belgian actually does make a bit of comeback. Oh, that's Woodhouse, of course, gaining on ranks, but the point still stands.
We've got messages in chat saying that's not usually a mistake that Matthias makes. What's he been drinking? So we'll have to ask him afterwards what he's had. But maybe he's had some sort of Belgian beer.
Yeah, I was saying about to say it could be a double, could be a triple, any kind of good Belgian beverage.
You never know. Yeah, I was going to say there's plenty of them. I was actually, I know that. Oh wow, Ben Thayens. Whoa, that was a scary moment. He launches the car over the carousel as he tries to avoid the contact there. Back at the front, Lewis Ward is actually closer to Fraser Smith than he is to Miguel Freitas now. So if Fraser starts to really put the pressure on, it depends on what sort of side he's on here, because if he really does want Miguel to win the championship rather than Lewis, then he'll start fighting Lewis. But if not, he'll try and work together and go forward. This could be a little pivotal moment here. Fraser Smith could be one of the decisive drivers in this, to be honest. So if you were Fraser, I mean, not taking this like into a personal level of do you prefer Lewis Ward or Freitas to win the championship, but sideways there from Lewis Ward. I was going to say, how would you approach this sort of situation? But that's counting that Lewis Ward doesn't put it in the wall himself.
Well, if I were Fraser Smith, I'd certainly approach it as my own race, not worry too much about who I'm racing or what they're doing in the different standings, but just try to get my own result in. Of course, with a bit of respect possible for your co-racers out there. We've seen in good amounts as well here today. But I wouldn't really be thinking too much about it, to be honest. I think I'd just be getting on with it and doing the racing.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, to be honest. You know, if you're a racing driver, I hate the old saying that Senna came out with, as I've said before, but, you know, if you don't go for the opportunity, then, you know, what's the point? You're trying to get your championship points. If it was teammates trying to help each other out, then I'd completely understand, but, you know, these guys aren't stable mates. They're just competitors at the end of the day. You know, they may have a friendship behind the scenes that I don't know about, but that's for another day. We've had an issue for Liam Silkstone. He's kissed the wall there. Doesn't seem like the car's too damaged or it's too much of an issue for him, so he's okay. Lee Deemer and Carl Jacquelet, though, these guys have been fighting for the AM Championship all season, and they're once again together on track for 11th and 12th place. Deemer leads the category because of a mistake before from Jacquelet, but Carl is not letting him get away with it easily. And the two closest cars on track at the moment. Although actually Lewis Ward and Fraser Smith are getting closer and closer together. Now they're going down the straight. Fraser is going to get the slipstream. Here we go. He's pulled out the slipstream already, you know. I think he's just making his intentions clear. Yeah, he's just hanging back a little bit, isn't he, Fraser? He's not pushing it too hard. Miguel leading the way just ahead of these guys. There's been a swap in the background. McNally and Franks still at it again. Franks on the right. He's just... Has he got the overlap to cut across? He doesn't want to risk it, does he, around there? Because that's going to be an almighty accident if you get that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something we've seen happen before, I want to say, and it's always dramatic. Regarding the lead battle and Fraser Smith's role in it, I think had it been the two Meraki racing cars of Lewis Ward and Andrew Hopley up there with Miguel Freitas, that would have created a very different situation. You could see the teammates bump drafting one another, trying to just help out, give that little bit of an advantage maybe to Lewis Ward on the long straight of the Duttinger, but being a three-car battle there up ahead, of course we're not going to be seeing any of that here. Gregory Franks in 7th, still defending from Adam McNally, and Mark Woodhouse is right back up there now, ready to pick up the scraps.
Lee Deemer and Carl Jacquelet were just swapping places a few times as well, actually. So a quick look at what happened there. So Lee was leading into turn 1 onto the Grand Prix loop. Carl hangs it around the outside. Doesn't quite get the cut back there. Does he go back to the inside? No, he still doesn't do it. Lee looks like he's running a bit wide though. Carl might go back down the inside. No, he's not remade and manoeuvre after that then. So Lee Deemer stays ahead in that battle. But this is definitely the one to watch at the minute. McNally with Franks and Woodhouse around him. The headlights are on now as well. So we're going to be going into the night. We're nearly half an hour into this race already, Hasse, and it feels like we've only been doing it for 10 minutes. It's flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same words, actually, there, Chaz. Time has flown by. That's what they say it does when you're enjoying yourself. And this is very enjoyable indeed here. The season finale certainly giving us a grand showing indeed. On board with Mark Woodhouse, and I'm just thinking to myself, where did Ben Thanes go in all of this? Because he was pretty much right on the tail of these 3 cars, still battling it out. And the gap is now, well, it's about 2 seconds, so it might just be a minor mistake there, sideways from Adam McNally there before, but it might also be because, remind you that Ben Thanes, I think, did have a bit of wall contact encounter on the lap before this one, and that just have might have biffed up his car ever so slightly. Might be costing him his time here.
Yeah, he could have had a bit of damage from that. Not to forget as well, he did launch it off the end of the carousel because he had a bit of a jump around, didn't he, when he was trying to avoid the contact. We've got TSR Jimmy in chat saying, yes, our boy Hasse. And yes, Hasse is commentating this evening with me. And Ala Lonatron, is that right? Saying, doing a great job, Hasse. So you're
thanks,
certainly being respected tonight, mate. It's great to be commentating with you after all this time as well. And knowing you is just half the race gone as well. So it's, great to make the transition and have you here. We're not going to have any Murray Walker references, though, I don't think, at this point, but we'll see, won't we?
I'm sure at some point they're going to sneak their way into the podcast or two, but let's just say I'm going to try to ease it down and keep it, the level where it isn't the first thing that floods the very first broadcast.
Definitely. Well, anyone that's watching as well won't have heard it, and probably for their own benefit, but Hasse and I had a massive nerd out moment about the Formula 1 1997 game and all the different strange things that Murray Walker used to say on that. And we recited pretty much everything off the script word for word. So you never know, we may release that as an audiobook at some point in future, but we'll we'll have to see. This battle though, Gregory Franks cannot shake these boys, can he? He just wants to get away from him before any of the slipstream sort of hot spots on this track, but while they all bounce around and bundle over the curbs, he's not really making any headway here.
No, not at all here. And Adam McNally, you saw how his car, this is not the first time we've seen specifically his car bounce around. I feel like maybe a little bit more than the other cars. And wondering if he's on a setup that might be a little bit softer than some of his competitors, with a car that seems a little more bouncy at least, but it's not like it's taking away too much pace from him. He's right on the tail of Gregory Franks there, and Mark Woodhouse, I think, still in contention for that 7th place as well. Very good fight. Wondering how it's looking for Matthias de Teach and Adam Belmont, who's... Oh, here they are.
It's Delmont's actually 2.9 seconds back on this. It's actually Hopley that's just in front there.
Of course.
They were, I think the way the timing just caught me out there as well, actually, because I thought, oh, Delmont has caught up to him, but no, apparently not. It's, our lovely timing screen is playing tricks on us. But de Teach, he's in firing range at the moment, you could say, from Hopley, but it's a bit difficult on a circuit like this because there's so many corners, and you can have a driver that's just good at one of them, and if you're in the right sector when you're catching them up and they just start to get away, it can really break your momentum, because a lot of these drivers, although they don't want to admit it, they do keep an eye on what they call, if you're not familiar with iRacing, the relative box. So in usually the bottom right of your screen, as the teach runs wide in the carousel, that ruins so much time as well around there. As I was saying though, the relative box, it's usually in the bottom right of someone's screen, and you can see just about how far away to the nearest tenth of a second someone is from you. And if you're gaining on somebody, you know, everyone checks them each single sector just to know what their progress is. You know, they've not got someone over the radio telling them all the time. And some of these drivers may be watching that as they're going along. And if you start to see that go, you start to think, I need to really like put a bit of effort in this next corner, or just send it a little bit harder there. It's not always how it works, but this is a great battle we've got going on here between the top 5 in the AM class. Carl Jacquelette's back in front, then it's Lee Deemer, Ryan Walker, Andy Fox and Liam Silkstone. And I can't believe they're this close together at just over the halfway point. I mean, Ryan Walker now putting pressure on Lee Deemer, who's lost the class lead to Jacquelette, but I mean, these AM drivers just showing you don't need to be at the front of the field to have a good scrap.
Not at all, and we've got 5 cars within 2.5 seconds, so that's really close indeed. And Ryan Walker, who's trying to come back from his bit of bad luck there early on, he seems like he's had a very good bit of pace about him. And barring that early spin, that was in qualifying, wasn't it? So he's...
I know, he had the spin in the race, yeah, the car.
Yeah, he had that spin in the race as well, yeah.
He's really come back well, actually, hasn't he, considering that, to be at the front of the AM class with these boys, 6/10 off the lead in the category. It's a great run, isn't it, by any standards?
Indeed, yeah, and he would have been, I'm guessing he would have been quite a bit of way off, actually, at the front, running away with it, had he not had that spin. But that's always easy to say, what ifs, and for now it's 3rd place for Ryan Walker in class. But given that we've got a bit of time left to do still, I have a bit of a hard time not seeing Ryan get past on these drivers here. He seems to be on a very good pace indeed.
And of course, if pit stops come into it, then they've got to think about track position, because it's all so important around here. You know, Ryan has to get out of it here. He wants to make sure that he can see the track in front of him, which is a completely different scenario when you've got an Audi RS3 in front of you. Like I said before, they are big old cars. It's not easy to see them. And we've had an issue for Dean Timms and Scott Angelo. Not sure whether they've come together. Scott Angelo went off track separately. Let's have a look at what happened to Dean Timms. Out of the jump. The car just doesn't get settled, does it? Is he going to hit the wall? He does.
Yes,
loses a wing mirror. What happened to Scott Angelo? Has he done the same? Oh, Scott Angelo's a bit further back, actually. Just a bit of understeer over the crest.
I think that was a bit of an understatement to say a bit of understeer. That was a huge amount of understeer there in Ice Corner.
Cross-channel ferry comes to mind.
Yeah, that was my scale of picturing as well there. Ryan Walker here on the Dutzinger area here. He's heading towards the Wittstein Bridge.
See these things doing 240 kilometers an hour. He's going to be getting a bit of slipstream now of Carl Jacquelette in front, who thinks, I don't want Lee Deemer chasing me. Look at Ryan go. He's really got an overspeed there. 243, 44 kilometers an hour round the outside in front of Carl Jacquelette, and suddenly class lead for Ryan Walker.
And for once I called something out and it turns out to be true. So half a lap ago I called out that we'd see Ryan Walker making moves, and here it is. So
well,
that's a rarity, I think.
Mark that down in the history books. It's it's going to go down in history for you. Lewis Ward is still not away from Fraser Smith, and now the gap to Miguel Freitas, well, there it is. 3.7 seconds now. Lewis is watching his championship drive away here, isn't he, Hasse?
Yeah, yes, he very much is, and he might be realizing himself. He might have pushed his tires a bit too hard here through the opening half an hour of racing, and that might be costing him now. Of course, this is pure speculation, but I'd say as a driver, you pretty much know when there basically isn't really anything you can do about the driver in front just running away from it, when he has just a car that might be a little bit quicker with the setup, with the tires. Maybe Freitas is a little smoother with its inputs or whatever. But I think you have a very good feeling of this when you're in the car racing, that if I just can't push to this level, because you just know that that's going to go wrong. And that's where experience comes into play as well, because if it's of course going to be better for Lewis Ward to actually finish the race than to push too hard and get a DNF for that.
Yeah, certainly it's a bit of a long game idea at this point. Full Send Racing asking for live timing. Yes, my friend. Just bear with me 1 second, and I will get that for you. It's in the YouTube chat for you right now, mate. There you go. We have Pete Harrod joining us in the chat. Paul Smith as well. Bod is in there too. Good evening, guys. Anton Dupin says, I saw the I'm going for first, says John Cleland again last weekend. That's probably one of Murray's greatest lines, and probably one of the quickest thought lines as well, as us to go up with things like the car upside down as a Toyota, things like that. We could go on for hours, I'm sure. Lewis, though, is getting closer and closer here with Fraser Smith. You know, Fraser's doing the great job that I said he would, and he's putting the pressure on. Whether Lewis is defending or not is another story, whether he's just trying to get on with his own race, but it's just starting to slip away slightly here. You never know what could happen. I don't think we're going to see any traffic become an issue here. I'll just have a quick look for you as well. If you look on the right-hand side, you can see the split between the pros and the AMs. That class battle at the front in the AM category is really holding those 4 guys up away from the pros, but you know, it's to be expected around here. It's good that we've got a direct split, to be honest, because it just shows how well the classification works. But I don't think traffic is going to be an issue around this track this evening. But you know, Fraser Smith could give it a go. He could go full send as the team is, but he doesn't really have a reason to at this point, does he, Hasser? He's on for a good podium. He's not in a fight with Lewis in the championship. And I think he's also understanding that Miguel is starting to drive away. The lead is now 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, I think they could very well just be keeping it as it stands and not really trying to fight it out too hard. And then maybe when we go down to the final lap, we'll see them with their elbows out a bit more, trying to settle that second position. But I think both of these drivers will be well aware that any excessive battling is just going to hurt both of their chances of actually catching up to Miguel Freitas up ahead. So this is just another situation where keeping your cool, keeping your calm sense, state of mind, all that stuff, it's so important. And it's easy for us to say, sitting here in the booth and just chatting along about it. Oh, and there's a big lead Deemer, and someone's lost the rear wheel. That's a big old incident there.
Yeah, Lee Deemer and Andy Fox. Summit has gone completely wrong there. Whether Lee's run wide on his own, he was chasing Jacqueline. Oh, we saw this before. The back end gets away, and he's on the grass. Oh, Andy just... Oh, Andy didn't really leave all the room in the world, did he there? He could have gone a bit wider. And to be honest, I think there was always going to be contact in that scenario. Lee trying to get the car turned around. He's towed it back to the pits. And that is potentially going to be Lee's race and championship over. Ryan Walker now, with Carl Jacqueline 1.4 behind, has pretty much got an easy ride at the front of the AM class now that that battle's going to be dissipated slightly.
Yeah, that might turn out to be his lucky moment to break away from that battle behind, although he did seem to me to actually have the pace to, well, drive away from them pretty straight and clear there. We saw before a car's rear wheel that just got clipped off as well. I think that was Andy's rear wheel that really just got snapped. And I'm afraid that's going to be a long repair if even they manage to get the car back out running here. 35 minutes left. Dean Timms.
Yeah, Dean's had some sort of issue there. He on the timing, he's gone on and off the track a few times. We'll have to keep going back, see what caused it. The car's a little bit out of shape there. It's always so tough going down the hill here. You've got like a 4 apex right-hander. Oh, it just runs wide. And on the grass, that's what we were saying before. He's going to get another hit on the wall there as well, and the rear. It's just that small margin between grass and barrier. He's caught another driver out, and hopefully it doesn't catch either of these boys out as they go around the carousel. Woodhouse still cannot get rid of Adam McNally.
Good stuff from McNally to stay on the behind of Mark Woodhouse there. And to be fair on Dean Timms, that especially that triptych of corners, that triad, if you will, it's usually goes by the name of miss, hit, miss, because that's how he was supposed to treat it in the apexes, which is not that easy. It's easier said than done, because just the slightest bit of overspeed into the corner, it's gonna cause you to wash wide on the exit there of the final bit of it, and there's just I mean, it's a few feet basically of grass on the outside. There's no space whatsoever, and you're coming in at big speed. It's a fast series of, but it's basically one corner, three corners, three apexes. It's a complicated one.
Yeah,
I actually, the funny bit of backstory there. Actually, when we did the 24 hours of Nurburgring not too long ago, that was kind of the first time I actually felt like I got it in and got it nailed down, and that's on what God knows 15 years of driving the Nurburgring and sims and games and stuff. It just goes to show how hard it can be to actually master this sport.
Yeah,
Not saying that I have mastered it.
Oh, trust me, I'm far from mastering the Nurburgring as well. Don't you worry. I know it off by heart. I know what corner's coming up next, but to say that I can get the car around there as quickly as possible is far from a lie. Fraser Smith, though, he's not far from the back of Lewis Ward here, and I think we're going to see him go for the move. He's going to think, right, I'm sick of looking at the back of your asymmetrical livery, and I'm going to go through.
He needs to hear.
Oh, he's going to bump draft him actually. I'm going for third, says Fraser Smith. Apparently, that's going to be his new saying. He's not actually going through and pushing past Lewis Ward. He needs to be careful though, because you can very easily unsettle the rear end of these TCR cars. With them being front-wheel drive, it's not going to do a lot to save at this sort of speed when you're doing 130, 140 miles an hour. So he backs out of it.
Very much my thought there, Chas, that does not take a lot for that front end of Fraser Smith's cars to really just dig in underneath the car of Lewis Ward. And if that happens, oh, Lewis Ward's going to be dead meat. So they need to be watchful with that. They need to be careful. Looks pretty controlled to me. It looks like a bit of a helping hand from Fraser Smith to Lewis Ward so far.
Yeah, he's
kind of that time.
Oh, Andy Fox has gone off again just near the end of the lap. He's just been off the circuit for a moment or so. Philip Hopley also had an issue. He's gone, oh, he's hit the curb there into the hairpin. He's actually just had a bigger issue as well. What's happened here? Philip Hopley, the car doesn't look like it's behaving itself. It's a bit all over the place, into the carousel. Oh, it doesn't get it slowed down enough, and it's gone around. Oh, that's a big old curb to hit a splitter on as well. It's going to feel that in the morning, aren't you?
He certainly is going to be feeling that, and that looks like some repairs to me. Question if it's going to... They should be getting that back out before the race is done. Now here we've got half an hour left to do.
That's flown by, hasn't it? it's
really, like we're 45 minutes into the race, Chas. I feel like it's rather 15 or 20 minutes that's been racing. I feel like it could be lap 6 at any track.
Yeah, definitely.
The
could be on the GP loop for all I know. It's gone by so quickly. This just isn't going away though. Fraser Smith, I don't know whether he's going to be helping Lewis Ward at this point. He may be thinking, I'm just going to push you around. I'm just going to try and help you, mate, give you a bit of a push. But Lewis will be driving in his mirrors at this stage. He wants to look forward, but there will be that little bit of doubt in his mind that I don't want Fraser to hit the back of me. I don't want him to push me round, because what if it does turn me? A little bit of incorrect contact. Even that horrible N-word that we don't like to say, netcode, it could happen. Even between the best connections on iRacing, we do see it from time to time. Yeah. And I don't think they should be risking it, really. It's on Fraser what he does, but whether there's any repercussions for Lewis is another story. Scott Angelo does his fastest lap of the race there, a 9 minutes 11.306. You can just see on the left-hand side. We'll show you the gains of the positions that people have here. Not too much movement. Andy Fox is up 6 places at the moment. He's the biggest mover in the field, with Dean Timms up 5, Angelo up 4, and Philip Hopley, that is, up 4 places as well. Freitas, Detige, Ranks, Woodhouse and Thayens are the 5 guys, no pun intended, that have stayed where they started. And if you look at
Adam Delman gaining 3 places as well there in the midfield of the pro ranks, so certainly it's been a pretty good showing for him as well.
Yeah, he was very quick at Alton Park a few weeks ago, taking a race win there, and just as Fraser Smith did as well. Adam's been really, really quick this season. He's had a bit more time for the practice, as Fraser Smith has gone past Lewis Ward. So I told you there's one of my curses. As soon as we look away, something happens. Let's have a look back then. Fraser just gets it down the inside. Lewis says, I'm not having any of that, mate. Just go on by. Whoa, nearly doesn't give him enough room there, but through he goes. Fraser Smith, deservedly so, I think it's worth saying. Up to second place now, Hassa. Whether he's going to tow Lewis Ward along with him or drive away, that's a different story. They're 7.5 seconds behind Miguel Freitas. Do you reckon they'll try and work together, or do you reckon they'll just have a fight, knowing that, you know, it's the end of the season, we may as well get on with it?
I think there might have been a good choice actually for Lewis Ward, because you could see that Fraser Smith wasn't going anywhere. He was right on his bumper. Looked to have a bit of extra pace there compared to what he was getting out of the car himself. So it might be advantageous for him actually to get in behind and to be able to just follow around and gain that slipstream on the straights and such. Saying that the gap is substantial now, around 8 seconds actually, closer to 8 seconds by now. So it's looking like Miguel Freitas has this in the bag by now. I think he can be pretty controlled in his way of approaching this. And to be fair on Miguel, he's pretty much flown under the radar since lap 2 or 3 when he's just been out ahead. And ever since pretty much settling his battle with Lewis Ward, he hasn't looked back. This looks so strong.
Yeah, it's just so consistent. I mean, he just makes it look effortless. You know, you can usually see from a car, even in sim racing, especially iRacing as well, where you get so much information visually. Oh, Fraser Smith has lost out to Lewis Ward now again. Lewis has gone back to second. I was just going to say that you can usually see the body language of a car and how much it's being pushed, and, you know, iRacing translates it very well in how they bounce around and how natural it is to watch in terms of the movement. But Miguel's car just always looks so under control and so tame. I mean, they call him the tame Iberian, but it's a very literal nickname, because the car's just never out of control, it's never all over the place. He just gets it round perfectly on the racing line. If there's a slide, you know, it's a slide because he wants it to slide and get it right on the racing line, point the car where he wants it and floor it. And he's just showing that today, that, you know, he's in a position to win the championship now, and deservedly so, really. You watch him drive and he makes it look so easy. Nothing off Lewis Ward, of course, though. I mean, Lewis has been so exciting to watch this season. He's had a massive fan club in the YouTube chat all season as well. And, again, deservedly so. He's been amazing. So has Fraser Smith. And, you know, I'm glad that we get to see these battles between these boys. Mark Woodhouse and Adam McNally have spread out a little bit further down. He's actually closer to the back of Gregory Franks now in 7th position. So there's potential that he could put a move on him going forward. I mean, like you say, we're nearly 50 minutes into the race now, so 25 to go. Couple more laps to put in the books. Plenty of time for him to make a move, or, you know, make a mistake and fall back to McNally.
Yeah, as well. I think actually we've had McNally slightly off the track at some point here within the last couple of minutes, so that might be why he's lost a little bit of time to the 2 cars ahead battling there. And Mark Woodhouse seems to be gaining on Gregory Franks at the moment. That gap seemed quite a bit bigger to me when they came onto this lap. So seems to be on a good run here. And as we mentioned earlier, Chess, the whole strategy situation, are they going to be pitting or not? Well, if they are going to be pitting, it's going to be soon, and you might be wondering if it's going to make sense to do it a little bit earlier, just to make sure that you get out in clean air and such, and get too disturbed by it, and also maybe not wear down the tires too hard. Saying that, actually, I don't think they're going to change tires. That would be
yeah, you probably want to just cool them down a little bit, don't you, and then get back on it, because the life of them will be gone anyway. And I think for the time that you'd gain again by putting fresh rubber on, with possibly 1 or 2 laps left of the race by the time you've done that, it might not be worth it, to be honest. You know, it's going to be a hefty gap if you do take tyres in the stop. So, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll have to see whether they even come in for a stop. I mean, some of them will probably try and make it last to the end. But it's going to be interesting either way. If a strategy does come into it, it just adds another element to the race. But I think that these guys are just going to keep going all out until they need to. And that's the brilliant approach that we've come to know and love from this championship. 8-second lead, by the way, at the front of the AM class at the moment by Ryan Walker. Now, Ryan won't mind me saying this, but he's not been the most standout driver in the AM class this season. He's been involved in a lot of incidents, whether some of them be his own fault or other people's fault. He tends to just get caught up in accidents that have happened in front of him. But it's great to see him having such a good race so far. He's really flying. He's come from a spin earlier on, back through the AM class, taken the lead in a very, very commanding way. And his lead's gone up to 9 seconds now over Carl Jacquelet. Scott Angelo is in the wall. And Scott is going to try and get going again. Let's have a look at what happened.
Does not look good to me.
Carousel, isn't it? Is he going to lose it on the exit? Is it going to bounce? Oh,
Oh, he
oh.
just went straight in. Oh, and that's a big impact for Scott Angelo, the privateer.
Yeah, that's not ideal. He's trying to reverse it to spin it around, but it's not going to happen with the wall there, mate. And now he's got to do a bit of Austin Powers. He backs it into the wall again. Gets back going. Dean Timms has gone through. Dean Timms is now 6.8 seconds clear of him. But just going back, Ryan Walker, amazing job. Great to see. Hopefully we're not going to curse him, but I think he's got it under control at the moment. Lewis Ward and Fraser Smith still not separated. And, you know, even though they're near the front of the field, they're just having a bit of fun and enjoying themselves because, you know, the last round of the season, you have to really get your elbows out. You've got to make a point, haven't you? You've got to just show everyone why you're here and that it is an enjoyable series to be in. And by the look of it, it really has been from these guys this season. It's been so much fun to watch, and every single race has been action-packed. So I can imagine behind the wheel, it's been just as good.
Indeed. As I was just about to say, here comes Fraser Smith, but decides to keep his ground for the moment.
Oh, I've been told, by the way, fuel lasts 90 minutes, so we will not be seeing pit stops.
No pit stops, so that's a thing not to consider then, and well, doesn't really matter because the racing's been more than excellent already. We don't really need pit stop to spice this up, I feel like. And Miguel Freitas is looking to crown himself the champion in the best of ways that you can possibly do by winning the race, and in dominant fashion as well. He's been looking so strong, and as you said, Chess, his levels of consistency would be impressive with two hands, but to consider that he's doing this stuff with one hand.
Yeah. Well, apparently this week he's actually got both hands again.
Oh, he's got both hands. Oh, that might be why he's leading all the rest of the time for that then. Because,
most probably.
Good stuff, though. Big respect there to Miguel Freitas for being able to just hold on and to be persistent in that sense. That I've been battling the same kind of problem myself as well. Not in the hand, but in the knee.
Ouch.
Before, yeah. So I know that tendonitis really can be a. Oh yeah, I don't want to. I want to keep the language clean here, but it's a less than fun thing to deal with, and I wouldn't want anyone to go through that stuff. So for Miguel to keep on racing with that really shows, I think, determination, but also that I think Miguel enjoys this, which it seems to. I think you have to enjoy it to make that kind of decisions to go race with one hand. Like you need your racing if that's your approach.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, with sim racing as well, it can be just as physical. I mean, I know that you don't get the G-forces of the cars, you don't get sort of bumped around as much unless you've potentially got a very powerful motion rig, but you know, people seem to forget that sim racing is as much of a physical sport as it can be a virtual one. You know, we all put in the effort, we all have the blood, sweat and tears behind the scenes of our own sim rigs. Everyone's got their own setups, their own way of doing things. But you have to physically put in the effort to do this. None of these guys race on controllers or anything like that, to my knowledge. I mean, they're doing flipping well if they are, but it's just amazing that so much effort goes into this, and they're still so close. Everyone, I'm sure, has seen many leagues before on many different sims from all over the place. That it can be a humongous divide in sim racing where you'll go into a race, people will be 15 seconds off the pace. We've got Ben Thayens off the circuit, he gets going again. Now that is Flugplatz, and that's not a place that you want to go off the circuit, is it, Hasse?
That is a place where you don't really... Oh, no!
Oh, no. It didn't look like he'd actually had a big hit in the wall, but that's quite a crunch there into the barriers. He's kept it going, though.
He did keep it going, but it's going to be a substantial impact for Ben Thames, and it's not the first bit of trouble that he's had. You can see the rear end of the car looks quite bent by now as well. The right front suspension might have taken a bit of damage there as well, and the engine,
yes,
I think, have seen better days.
Yeah, so, definitely. It's not in peak condition. It's not showroom quality at the moment. Is that?
It's not mint, is it?
No, it won't come in a cellophane bag and be sold as new on eBay, definitely. But Hopefully he can get some scrap value out of it at the end of the night when the season's over. He's certainly trying to wrestle it home. The battle's still here, though. This is still going on now. Delmont has been caught by Vranks and Woodhouse, so while Delmont was very, very quick earlier, plenty of curb there as well. That's probably why you're losing the tenths of a second, Sunshine. Vranks has just been so persistent, and I think that Gregory's looked after his tyres here because he's been good at that before. And I think he's showing another example of that now, and Woodhouse has adopted the same sort of strategy and gone with him here. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it seems to me that you're very much on point there, Chaz. I think Adam Delmont might have had a small off track or something because he was a couple seconds clear not too long ago of Franks and Woodhouse. And that's not the case anymore. He's very much under pressure. It seems to me like, let's say that Woodhouse goes wide there. 2 wheels onto the grass. He keeps that going. Good stuff indeed. But Delmont, I think, might not be in the best kind of groove for himself right now, it seems. That gap came down quickly, and it's never a nice place to be there all of a sudden with those flashlights in the rearview mirror growing, getting bigger and bigger and bigger until they're blindingly close all of a sudden, and pretty much the situation he's in now.
Well, he's got to just keep his wits about him. Woodhouse will be quite grateful as well because we saw he only had one headlight when the daytime running lights were broken, but luckily his headlight still works, so he can still see where he's going by the time this race is going to finish. Vranks probably can't see where he's going at the moment because his windscreen is full of Adam Delmont, and he's really putting the pressure on. Can't wait to see if he does give it a full send or whether he just keeps it calm as he has done all season. Just plays it nicely. Delmont's gone in deep there by the look of it. No, he manages to get that stopped very well. The car was quite sideways there. I thought it was going straight on, did you?
Certainly looked like it to me, but I think he applied the perfect amount of trail braking pressure there to just flip the car in and keep it tight into the apex there. And I think Ben Thanes might have had another moment there, and he's back in the pits now.
Yeah, he's had another issue, hasn't he? Oh no, we've seen that before.
And that's miss, hit, miss. Oh, and that's going to be the end of his race, I'm afraid.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, straight back to the pits. And unfortunately, Ben Thayens for G-Drive Racing Exemia out of this one. He's done an amazing job this season as Ben. He's been so exciting to watch, but the last few rounds, there's just been the odd little mistake here and there, and it's just fallen apart for him. We saw him clipping the grass a lot at Alton Park. I mean, you're not at Alton Park if you've not clipped the grass, have you? Oh, Delmont very sideways. Vranks is going to be all over him. I don't know how he saved that and kept it on the black stuff, but what a bit of control by Delmont. But he's going to be a bit shaken now and a bit worried about them rear tyres. And Gregory Vranks wants it in. He wants to cash in all of his chips right now, put it all on the table and make a move to try and break away. He's already shown that he's got the pace to close up to him. Delmont is going to really be looking in his mirrors now. And Vranks, I reckon, is really, really on a charge to make this move stick. But it's where you do it. That's the thing. That's the overriding thing at the Nordschleifer, isn't it? You've just got to think, where the heck am I going to pass this guy now?
He needs to feel like I've said this all evening, but he needs to keep his cool and then maybe just wait for the straight. That would be the safe thing to do. Right now, I think Adam Delmont really is not feeling his car at all. It doesn't look like it to me. It seems like it's understeering, and when it stops understeering, the rear likes to snap on him as well. It doesn't look predictable. It doesn't look nice. It seems like he is suffering with it at the moment. But just as I say that, Gregory Franks gets a little bit of a bad run from the mini carousel, and now they're coming onto the Dutchinger Höhe. We'll have Adam McNally. I'm sorry, we'll have Mark Woodhouse, that is, on the tail of Gregory Franks as well. And actually,
Smith and Ward have changed.
That, yeah.
Smith does it in the slipstream once again. Back up to second place. And whether Lewis Ward is going to let him keep that is another story. We've got 2 laps to go now, surely. 15 minutes of the race to go. Well, 13 minutes and 45 seconds. No, sorry, my maths is terrible. There you go. I was telling Hassan beforehand not to rely on my maths, and there's proof. We have now, in about 5 seconds' time, we have 13 minutes left, so we'll go with that. Vranks and Delmont side by side, as we could have expected. Up the hill they go. Oh, Vranks gets out of it. Delmont's car bouncing around. It's good that he did get out of that there, Hassa, because if he didn't, he probably would have bounced into the side of him and we would have seen pretty hefty contact, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that would have been a big one indeed, and they might as well have taken Mark Woodhouse with them because he would have been in a poor position in there as well, behind these two with not much places to go. Let's see here, Gregory Franks looking to the outside. Quite defensive from Adam Delmont, and I do understand why he's choosing to actually defend this position now. Gregory Franks, though, is insisting on it here and in the stadium section. If you can keep the run there on the outside through turn 1, turn 2 is yours for the taking. Is there going to be a cutback here from Adam Delmont? No, there isn't, and Gregory Franks takes 6th place.
Beautiful. Really, really well done. And just as we saw the lap times come up there, actually, we saw Adam Delmont do an 8 minutes 55.4. Gregory Franks did an 8:52.4, so he was 3 seconds quicker than him that time round. And Mark Woodhouse did an 8:54.05 as well, so quite a difference between these guys' lap times, but Delmont was 3 seconds slower. That's why we saw them catch up so much. But Delmont has fought right back into this, though, showing that he's not giving up, is he?
He's having absolutely none of it. And they've been too wide for 3 corners here as Adam Delmont goes right back in front. But now Gregory Franks with another big run down towards the chicane. They're going to enter the Nordschleife, and Gregory Franks is going to do... He really wants to get ahead here because, as you just mentioned, Chaz, 3 seconds on the last lap alone. That's quite a substantial time gap on lap time there. And you can see how he's just able to push his car a little bit more. But now...
Mark Woodhouse wants to just jump in there. I think Franks had to really get on the brakes, actually, just to avoid Delmont because he got such a slow run. I think the back end stepped out slightly. And Woodhouse nearly took advantage, but now we're back to square one again with this battle, aren't we?
We are very much back to square one. It's an... If I want to say exciting, it's really, really good racing here. This trio has been going on at it for quite a while now. And it was actually, this was a 4-way scrap earlier on with... Ben Thames and the car of Adam McNally, who was a part of this as well. And this time around now, it's Adam Delmont who's been caught up by these 2 cars remaining up that stretch. It also means that Franks and Woodhouse, they've been going at it for the entirety of the race, basically. Still not really being separated by more than a second and a half or so, I think. And
yeah, it's been very close. Delmont! Delmont, sunshine, please. I can't take any more of that.
That's okay in Gran Turismo, but you don't do that on iRacing there on the exit there of Flugplatz, because that usually ends up in a big incident indeed here. Oh, he comes very far to the right-hand side on the entrance of Armberg, and now down towards the foxhole. He still keeps his car ahead, and that just goes to show just how hard it is to get here, to get past, because Gregory Franks clearly with the pace advantage, and it's becoming a problem for Franks now because Mark Woodhouse is so close that the next time he'll be attacking Adam Delmont, he might be compromising himself to Mark Woodhouse behind.
Yeah, definitely. He's really got to think about it now. We can see the headlights ablaze. It really looks aggressive, that Audi. It's a brilliant looking piece of kit. As McNally looks like he's had an issue, you know. Oh, there's a wing mirror flying. He's in the wall. He's gone in way too hard. He's broken the suspension. The front left has gone. And that's going to be the end of the race for Adam McNally. Such a shame right near the end. What's he done? He's hit the curb. Oh, it's really unsettled the car. And then the back end catches the grass. And that's a big side-on hit. Luckily, he doesn't do what the BMW 2 Series very famously did a few months ago, where it flipped into the air. But that's a big one. We've also lost Scott Angelo from the race as well. He's already got a bit of a crumpled car at this point. Have to see what he manages here. That's in way too hot in the right-hander. It's gone once, it's gone twice. Oh, wow, okay.
Whoa.
That's, oh, and then, yeah, suddenly the very sorry sight of that Audi does appear in the pit lane, unfortunately, but I bet that caught him off guard. I hope he wasn't in VR for that one, because that would have woken you up, wouldn't it?
That would have been, that must have felt like being shot directly out of a cannon there as he hit the wall. Adam Delmont, I think, is doing a very impressive job, knowing that he's struggling with the pace in his car, but he's proving that his racecraft is very much there, and he is on the limit. And so is Gregory Franks. who gets a bad run there, and through goes Mark Woodhouse.
Yeah, Mark takes the advantage straight away. We'll go and have a quick look back at what he did. Oh, Frank's just... Oh, I thought I heard him, you know. I thought I heard grass, and he was all over the shot. And then, before you know it, there's that mistake we were talking about earlier, and through goes Mark Woodhouse into 7th position. Up at the front, it's still not over between Freitas and Ward. We've got 8 minutes, or 7.5 minutes, of this race to go. One more lap, and Fraser Smith is holding on to second at the moment. The gap isn't really opening up much, but 13.4 seconds in the lead is Miguel Freitas. And he's been pretty untouchable, like you said, Hassett, once he broke away and reasserted his dominance over Lewis Ward's position. He's run away with it at the moment. Lewis Ward's actually just gone back past Fraser Smith. There we go. A look away from a battle and it changes. It's the curse. The curse lives on. Fraser goes hot into the carousel. Look at the difference it makes around there. Staying on that concrete around there. People say, oh, you don't need to. It's just, you know, you're taking risk going on there. It's absolute rubbish. You know, you saw the difference there that Lewis Ward got. Because of the extra camber, the car just grips like nothing else. And through he goes. Makes it look very, very easy. And into second place he goes. And we have to give it to Lewis Ward. He's done everything he can in this race so far. It's still not over, of course, but, you know, it's looking more and more like Freitas has got it wrapped up. One more time around to go. And I think Fraser Smith is really starting to get his elbows out now. He's thinking, go on then, let's have this scrap. You know that this is what you want. You know you want to have a bit of a laugh in this. Let's really show everyone what these cars can do. We've got fantastic lighting conditions here as the sun has set. And the headlights are ablaze around the Nurburgring Nordschleife. And Mark Woodhouse, well, he's got his headlights ablaze on the back of Adam Delmont. He wants to go chasing after him. He's thought, right, Gregory, you couldn't get it done, so I'm going to go and do it now. But Gregory's saying, no, I want to do it. And it's just becoming a little bit of a domestic between these pair, but, you know, that's what we want on track, isn't it? Door handle to door handle stuff. We want everyone to be going for it.
It's been brilliant so far, indeed. You have to wonder whether Gregory Franks got a little bit frustrated there. And if that's caused him to just boil over a bit mentally, because he really was getting held up big time by Adam Delmont. It's now going to be, unless Mark Woodhouse can just find the way through, it's going to be the same frustrating situation awaiting him in front here through Pflanzgarten. That's a nice and easy German word to say. Pflanzgarten.
Easy for you to say with your accent. But to be fair, I'm not going to give that one a go. I'll leave that to you. Honestly, well, Hasse knows all the corner names. I don't. I won't lie.
I do live in the country that's right on top of Germany, so to be fair, it should be close enough. Maybe a bit too close even for comfort to those pesky Germans. Anyways, coming into the mini carousel, and that's where we're gonna stop for today and just keep it professional here. Woodhouse 7th, Franks 8 now, and oh! Adam Delmont kissed the wall there on the outside, and surely that's going to damage his car. That's going to cost him the position. Oh, and Woodhouse as well. And this is just plain sailing for Gregory Franks. He's going to take 6th place.
It's non-stop for these guys. Absolutely non-stop. Fraser Smith has got past Lewis Ward as well for 2nd place. Miguel Freitas is just starting the final lap of this race. It's been an incredible performance, but we have to have a look at these guys that are just showing us how much you can battle around the Nordschleife. Look at that, Mark Woodhouse in the middle there. The three of them. Let's go to the chopper cam and get a ganders on this. Under the bridge they go. You've got Franks on the right, Delmont on the left, Woodhouse in front in the middle. Look how close Delmont is to the back of Mark Woodhouse. He's really trying to scare him into a mistake there, but he's not managed to do so, and Mark Woodhouse now is up to 6th position. We've lost Dean Timms, by the way. Let's have a look at what happened to Dean. Through the left-hander, clips the curb one way, that's fine. Clips the curb through the right. Oh, the car's bounced, he's hit another curb, it's going to get out of shape, and that's a big hit into the wall. And that's going to be race over, surely, for Dean Timms.
Yeah,
he tries to get it going, doesn't he?
He does actually manage to...
Oh, that's got a lot of right lock on it, though, to try and get it in a straight line. He's still going, but it's going to be a very, very damaged car, unfortunately. Oh, we've got Gregory Franks going off the circuit. Oh, this is such a great battle, everyone. I really hope you're enjoying this as much as we are, because I've got my leg twitching. I'm up and down all over the place here. This is amazing racing. It's insane.
Really good stuff. It's really good stuff indeed. I actually managed to say that Gregory Franks went up into 6th place before. So everything is back to good old normal with me making terrible prophecies that never turn out to be true. I could cram a little Murray Walker quote into that one. 8th place for Franks. He's not going to be happy with that, knowing that he could have been ahead of these 2 lads by now. This scrap has been so good. And I think for these drivers, this must be so enjoyable as well. Having competition so close to your own level. And it's nip and tuck, it's give and take, it's one mistake here and then another mistake from the other one. There's Adam Delman, goes a little bit wide, a little deep into the chicane there. The rear you can see in the braking zone there and wants to go. There's a little bit of counter steer just to keep it in place. Does so very well, but he is fighting the car by now.
Yeah, he's just trying to come to terms with it. I think the tyres are gone and he's really pushing to chase Mark Woodhouse. You can see he's giving it absolutely everything. I think Franks' best option here is to just sit there and wait till the slipstream at the end, but you know, it's easy for me to say from here. We're just going to have a quick look at Lewis Ward and Fraser Smith again, who have been real sort of standouts for me. The best battle we've seen has definitely been Woodhouse, Delmont and Franks for this race, but these two, to be battling for the podium spots as aggressively as they have been in a race as long as this, is amazing to see. Great scrapping from both of them. Fraser Smith cuts one way, then the other, down the inside, backs out of it though. He thinks now Lewis is really going to commit to this. I don't want to hit him. Come on, we don't want it to end that way. Lewis stays in front then in 2nd place. But your race leader, Miguel Freitas, as Lewis runs a bit wide there actually. He might lose a position. We'll stick with this for a second. See what Fraser can do. He's weaving around all over the back of him. He wants to come through. He's saying, go on, Sunshine, get it down that hill. Come on, push it. Push it all the way. Fantastic scenes here as well. Brilliant shot as they fly past our cameras there down the hill. And then get it slowed down again for what is a very tricky sort of double chicane section with really tall curbs. It's not the easiest to navigate because you tap one of them and the car bounces wide. Well, Lewis Ward holds on. We take a look back as well as these boys do the same. Down the hill they go. It's Woodhouse, Woodhouse, Delmont and Franks. Detige, by the way, is 7.7 seconds ahead of these, and then 10 seconds behind Andy Hopley, who's then 9 seconds behind Fraser Smith. So those guys a bit spaced out at the moment in terms of their positions, but doing a great job all the same. And Gregory Franks, he wants some of the vinyl off the back of that Excite car, doesn't he? He's thinking, I need a collector's piece from this championship.
Yeah, he's looking all over the place for a souvenir here as well, that's true. And just to touch on Andy Hopley and Matthias Detige, both of these drivers really has flown under the radar for so long. I mean, we have to say that even though we love watching the exciting action and when it gets edge of the seat like it's been with this trio for quite a while now, those drivers really just flying under the radar. That is basically how you want to run your race, and it's been the same for Miguel Freitas, just disregarding the first 1 or 2 laps. But Andy Hopley, Matthias Detige, they've just been getting on with it, going around, and it's paid off for him so far. Really, just staying clear of any kerfuffles. Yeah,
definitely. And one of the scary things is, I mean, if we look at the lap times here, I mean, 2nd place Lewis Ward did an 8-minute 50.5. Fraser Smith did an 8:47.5, and you've got to think that some of that was down to the slipstream. Miguel Freitas done an 8:47.3 with no slipstream. It's just how? Like 3 seconds quick around here. I mean, yeah, you can argue that Lewis and Fraser were battling, but the pace has just been insane. I mean, I realised I was looking at their best laps, not the last ones, but even last time round, 8:52s from Fraser and Lewis as they swap around places again. 8:49.6 for Miguel Freitas. There's no one else in the 8:49s. No. And he's just, even though he's not doing his best laps of the race now, he's still so much quicker than everyone else in the field. It's just incredible. But we've got only, well, a third of a lap to go, I'd say. And then we've got this wrapped up. Fraser Smith a little bit wide into there. Lewis is just going to try and capitalise, but there is your race leader, Miguel Freitas. Oh, look, he went on the grass for a second there. That's probably the only mistake he's made all race. He kisses the grass slightly. Bit of curve.
Oh, Miguel, take it easy. Don't go pushing too far now.
He's enjoying himself, isn't he, down this final section. It's worth just staying on board with Miguel just to see how controlled and calm it is down here now. Still at amazing race pace though, but I mean, if you compare this to what we were watching before from the likes of Adam Delmont, Gregory Franks, the body language of the car, the control, look at the inputs, it's just so, everything's so accurate and smooth, isn't it? He's really got every single movement just on lock in his head, hasn't he?
Yeah, yes. It's very apparent that he knows exactly what he's going to do with the car as he turns it into a corner. He knows exactly what's coming up for the next. He perfectly places the car here into ice corner. That's huge speed. And that line is pretty much spot on, to be honest. It's impressive to see from Miguel Freitas, the talent on display here.
It's amazing.
This big here.
We'll just have another look back at this because there's differing scenarios. We've got Freitas leading the way in a very calm manner, and then we've got this madness. Woodhouse goes off. Delmont's going to go down the inside. Franks is thinking, go on then, go on.
He's not. How does he keep that position, Mark Woodhouse? That's absolutely impressive.
Round the outside, carries the momentum somehow, and by doing that as well, he's put Delmont under pressure from Franks. It's just incredible stuff. Lewis Ward just nipped off the circuit for a second. I think he just ran wide, maybe onto some grass, and he's kept it safe. But Miguel Freitas' lead now, well, we'll show you on the left-hand side. It's a 20-second gap at the moment. 13 cars on the lead lap. And I think that we're going to see Miguel wrap up the race and the championship in an incredibly impressive way. He's just coming round now, down the Dirtinger Her one more time. And it's just been amazing to watch him this season. It's been amazing to watch him tonight. He's been incredible. We'll give these boys a few more seconds because you can just see how calm it was. Now it's just chaos with these guys. They're going to just go for it, aren't they, towards the end. Luckily, they're quite a while behind. They're 50 seconds back, so we'll see them throughout the final few corners in a moment. But we really do have to give this man his moment. He didn't even race in the first 2 rounds of the championship, and then he went on an incredible run, winning 7 races on the trot. And I think he won 7 out of 8 races in a row, and the only race that he didn't win, he finished second to Lewis Ward. And then he continued doing the double, meeting after meeting. And I've been asking for clap emojis in chat all season, but I want every single clap emoji you've got for your Simmortal Simracersworld TCR champion, Miguel Freitas for Team Mad. Gets the job done. Incredible performance, and he's so happy about that, and rightly so. It's just been an incredible feat all season. Fraser Smith is looking like he's going to take second place, but Lewis Ward second in the championship. He did everything he could, and it's been an amazing chase this season. And well, what a way to round up this is going to be, Hassler. Look at these boys here. You just
They're
have
going
to
to try
laugh.
out for the 3 wide again here, and this time Gregory Franks, he makes the prophecy come true, I think, as he goes up into 6th place. For now, at least.
He's done it. He's just
He's
managed
done
to
it. Look
slide
to the
through.
final chicane here. He took 2 places there, incredible, and he goes off.
Woodhouse has
Gregory
gone wide
Franks.
as well. Delmont's going to come through. Delmont sneaks through round the barrier. Adam Delmont, take a bow, son. How did you make that Audi fit through there? Go on. Adam Delmont takes 6th place. Nothing away from Hopley and Detige, by the way. But wow, what an incredible battle from those guys. Oh my God. That was insane. Let's just go on board with Delmont and see what he's thinking. Oh God, these boys have gone in deep. Let's just hang it back a sec, sort it out. Woodhouse comes over to avoid Franks, and he just goes, no, you know what, I'm going to hang it through the outside. Oh my goodness me, that's insane stuff from Adam Delmont. We need to have a look back, by the way, because Ryan Walker is going to come through and surely take the win in the AM class, and it's been a great performance from him. I'm very pleased to see that he's managed to get something like this season, because he's been trying so hard. He's had so many frustrating weekends, or well, race weekends essentially, in this championship. But please, more clap emojis for Ryan Walker, everybody. Nomad Sim Racing Black takes 9th place overall and a win in the AM class. Carl Jacquelet is your AM champion. It is confirmed. There it is. Final round, and he takes 2nd place. Liam Silkstone is going to take 3rd for XII Racing Orange. And wow, I tell you what, even I nearly lost my voice there, because what a finale we've had. But there is your champion, Miguel Freitas. And well, Hasse, it's been amazing to have you with me, but that's a hell of a race to round out our season with, isn't it?
It really is. What a race to have my debut on. I feel like this has been such a gift to hop in and be a part of. And I'm still just, I'm in awe of that three-way battle, final chicane, and Adam Delman just, I feel like Gregory Franks really must have found some kind of Jedi Force. The midichlorians were with him or something, because he sensed that there was a car. It could have been a spotter as well, doing a very good piece of work there on telling him, all right, going over 3 wide, you're in the middle, whatever happened. That was so close indeed, and so great to see that they actually managed to not touch more than they did that in that situation. That was hugely impressive.
It was just
really
unbelievable.
impressive.
I can't believe they did that. I want to have another look. I want to go on the chopper cam and just see what the gap was for Delmont, because Franks, he hits the curb, Woodhouse goes late on the brakes, and he just squeezes it round there. I don't know if he knew that Franks' car was going to go that way, but that was just beautifully judged, and I really hope that Adam comes into the interview booth afterwards, because we need a word with him over that one. Because that was just, you've got to have, like you say, some sense. The midichlorian's definitely with him, but even if they weren't, that's just great judgment. Either that or it was a fluke. We look at Dean Timms here, who, to be fair to him, is wrestling around a very damaged RS3 around this final part of the race. But an hour and 15 minutes has absolutely flown by, and it's really, really gone well. Ryan Walker is in the YouTube chat as well. Very well done on that performance, Ryan. It's very well deserved. Like I said, he just kept pushing this season again and again, no matter how frustrating his race evenings were when he kept coming back. You know, incidents here, contact there, getting taken out of races, getting caught up in incidents. He's continued to push this season and made it through. Dean Timms goes off again. He manages to save it though. Go on, son, get that car home.
Yeah,
we're willing it on. We're really willing it on. And we've actually got Philip Hopley as well, is also just coming into the carousel. He's also trying to push his Audi home. These guys now just damaged cars here and there, victims of the green hell, but still putting the fight on to try and make it through. What we will do actually in a moment is interview a couple of guys, as we usually do. We've got a few in the waiting room at the moment, one of which that I really want to speak to just while the race ticks over now with these guys. Andy Hopley, series organiser and racer for Meraki Racing, joins us. Andy, that was an incredible finale, mate, wasn't it? How did you get on anyway?
Evening, Chaz. Yeah, I did all right. You know, fourth. It's not too bad, not too shabby. Dreading the tyre wear around there from the experience I've had in the 24-hour and the VLN. I really struggle with tyre wear, so that was priority number 1 for me, really. Well, priority number 2. Priority number 1 was trying to put one on Miguel at turn 1, but that never happened.
Yeah, I was going to say we did comment on the fact that once Miguel got the lead again, he was just away with it, wasn't he? He was off into the distance, as he does. We've got Dean Timms just coming across the line now. He's finished 13th overall. But Andy, it's been an amazing season, mate. You must be very pleased with how well it's gone, and I mean, a finale like that to round it out is just exactly what it deserved, isn't it?
I hope it's been great to watch. Yeah, it's we've had our ups and downs during the season, but yeah, the series has definitely left a nice taste in the mouth. Yeah, I just hope it was good to watch. From my point of view, a bit of a boring one, to be honest with you. You know, I spent best part of 40 minutes with a 10-second gap in front and behind me, so I was kind of worried on that front. But I hope there was some good battles for people to watch.
Yeah, there certainly was, mate. If you, I'm not going to tell you to skip through to the end, because at the end of the day, I know you'll want to watch the whole thing. But we just witnessed an absolutely unbelievable move by Adam Delmont at the end of that there to beat Woodhouse and Franks once they made little mistakes. And me and Hassan nearly erupted. Honestly, I think we nearly brought Discord down with our excitement, because it was just unbelievable. The end of that race.
Doesn't sound like Adam.
Oh, not at all. He absolutely went for it. We're just actually watching Philip Hopley at the moment. Just round out his lap. He's just coming onto the Dirtinger Her now.
Go on, Dad.
For the final time. He's going, and that's the thing that I've loved, you know. I mean, Philip, has he enjoyed this season that you know of?
He's had some frustrations, I'm not going to lie, but he's keen. He's wanting to be competitive, you know. So you're going to get frustrated, but you know, it's his first 6 months on iRacing. He's got time.
Definitely. Well, that's it. You know, I remember you telling me when he'd gone from a single screen to triples, and you know, there was an instant improvement that race meeting. You know, he was adding more and more pace. It gives you the extra awareness and stuff of what's around you, and it's great to see that he's still sticking with it, and he's pushed this car to the end as well. He had an incident earlier on, but he hasn't let that hold him back.
Good stuff.
Around now to come around the final few corners. In terms of the championship itself then, mate, obviously I want to say thank you, of course, for the organisational side of things. I'm sure there are many people that will want to thank you for this fantastic championship. It's been incredible to watch, and you've been a legend all throughout. I mean, we've not stopped talking since the very first announcement, really. There's been so much communication, hasn't there, with getting everything absolutely on the dot. Yeah,
cheers for that, mate. I appreciate that. It's been a pleasure, having you do the commentary for us. It's been easy, hasn't it? It's just been, everything's just been in place. We've got on, and thanks for taking it on, mate. It's been good to watch, and the community's definitely thriving off it. So thank you very much.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Just before we let you go, though, Andy, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or anything before we wrap up the season?
Well, I think first and foremost, massive shout out to Team Mad and Miguel. Congratulations on the championship. Obviously, a bit downhearted on my part, being the guy that runs Meraki, but those guys are top. It's been great fun. Great banter on the social media between us. Good set of lads. Miguel's on another level. Obviously deserves the championship. They're taking the team championship as well. Big shout out to Carl for taking the AM championship as well, no doubt. We're still waiting for the official results to come in, but it's a no-brainer really. Miguel for overall champion and Carl for the AM championship. Yourself, Ian, Ronald Moons for the website, Anton Depan, Brian Holmes, Chris Moretta, Lewis Ward, Rashid Kazim, and if there's anyone else I've missed, but those are the guys behind the scenes that have been helping me with the race stewarding week in, week out, and that takes up a lot of time, so I appreciate their time on that. I'll leave you to it.
Smashing, Andy. Well, thank you very much again from everybody on such a brilliant season, and hopefully I'll speak to you again very soon, mate.
Cheers, Chaz.
Awesome stuff there to speak to you, Andy. And I tell you what, Hasse, as it's your debut with us this evening, what I'll do, mate, is I'll give you the absolute pleasure of speaking to our new champion, newly crowned champion and race winner, Miguel Freitas.
Oh. So, Miguel, what a race. Absolutely commanding at the front. The first 2 laps, a bit of a battle there with Lewis. What went through your mind as she had a couple of close encounters there during 2 laps?
Yeah, it was scary. I didn't want to be involved in any fight, so I was trying to lead the pack. But on the first lap, I made a mistake, so I had to fight to go to the top again. But I managed to do so. So that was nice. After that, I managed to create a gap and keep it until the end.
And from there, brilliant race. It looked so cool. It looked so calm, so collected. Was it even easy out there at the front?
No, I was very nervous, but I had a lot of practice, so I was just hitting my marks and hoping for the best.
Good stuff. Miguel, huge congratulations from us here in the booth. It's been a brilliant display, a well-deserved victory, and an even more well-deserved championship. And best of healing vibes with your hand as well. I've heard about that. I hope that's all okay.
Yeah, no, I'm still recovering. I will be stopping for a bit to not make things worse, but I wanted to do this final to win the championship. So now I need to recover again.
Well, just a final word from me as well, Miguel. I just wanted to say how much of a pleasure it's been to watch you this season. Even the fact that you didn't compete in the first 2 rounds, and people like McNally taking double wins even before you were in it. To come back from that so dominantly, and the amount of double wins that you took over race meetings is just incredible to see, and I honestly really want to extend my congratulations. It's been amazing to watch. Same goes as well, actually. We'll bring him in. Mark Woodhouse, the stud muffin himself from Team Mad. Both of you guys have done such a great job for Team Mad, and I know that Dave, Ash, Paul, everyone involved will be really, really pleased. But obviously, before we let you go, Miguel, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
My team, it's amazing to be on this team. It's always a lot of fun in chat, on Discord, everywhere. Yeah, thanks to them, this was a great season.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Well, very well done. I'll let you go and enjoy the moment, and hopefully I'll speak to you again very soon.
Yeah. Thank you, see you.
Miguel Freitas there, your new champion, and we move on to Mark Woodhouse. Mark, you had a really good scrap with those boys out there. That was amazing to watch. How was it from behind the wheel? Oh, you're a bit quiet, mate. I can't really hear you very well.
Sorry, I had to wear a mic, so it might be a bit quiet.
Bear with me 1 second, buddy. 1 sec. We'll put the footage in slow-mo. We'll turn the music down, and we'll go into what we call ASMR mode with Mark Woodhouse. That must have been enjoyable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't think I did enough. Well, I know I didn't do enough. Plus, with all the incidents I've picked up, I think I've probably got some penalty points. Well, points deducted anyway. So, but it was a good season. I enjoyed it.
What did you make of the manoeuvre by Adam Delmont at the end when you and Gregory went off? I mean, we couldn't believe that he'd managed to squeeze that Audi round there. But how was it from your point of view?
Trying to avoid Gregory, to be honest. I didn't know where he'd gone, Adam. So I just tried to cut back inside of Gregory, but Adam got the run on the outside. So well done to him.
And what was it like trying to focus that much all the way through? Because it didn't seem like at any point in that race you had it easy. I mean, you were constantly in a battle every single corner, and every time we came back to you, it was the highlight of the race for us, because we were loving it. To see such close pack racing on the Nordschleife is amazing. But it can't have been easy, because you must have been so focused throughout.
Just trying to work out where Adam was, McNally and Matthias. And then trying to conserve my tyres really towards the end, so I could catch up. I just tried to sit behind him a lot of the time. So yeah, it was as I say, it was tense.
I can imagine so, mate. Well, well done on winning the team's championship with Miguel. It's been great to watch you guys this season. I'm very, very pleased for you. And of course, a long-time friend of Team Mad, so it's nice to see you guys get the silverware for that. It's a great achievement, but hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
Yeah, Team Mad. We really close bunch. Enjoy every minute with them. Obviously, yourself doing the broadcast. They're been fun to watch back.
Thank you.
The organisers. This is one of the best seasons of series I've raced in. Iraqi team as well for making it fun. It's brought us right up to the end of the season, really. So they've been challenging us, so thanks to them as well. It's always good to race around. Our sponsors, our affiliate partners, Fanatec, Overclockers. We've got Simortal, Small Time Productions. I can't remember the rest, sorry. But,
love it. I'll get on to Dave about that. But no, it's great to speak to you again, Mark. Very well done, mate. And we'll leave you to go and calm down now after what was a very tough race, and hopefully speak to you again soon.
yeah, thank you.
Mark Woodhouse there from Team Mad. We will turn the music back up now. We'll get the replay back up to full speed. Now we're not in ASMR mode. We'll bring in one more interviewee to round out the evening. And to be fair, I think someone that it's definitely worth speaking to after a feisty race that time round is Fraser Smith. Now, Fraser, I imagine you thought that when you went into an endurance-style race like this, you were going to have it easy throughout, but that wasn't the case with Lewis around, was it?
It wasn't really. I mean, at the start, I didn't really want to get in his way. He was like fighting to win it, so I just sort of pushed him along. Then the gap to Fraser was just getting bigger and bigger, so I thought, might as well do a couple moves. And, yeah. But I was giving him a few pushes, letting him know I was there.
Yeah, we caught those, and we did wonder whether it had turned the car around at any point, but luckily, no such.
I have done that before, so I've learned how to not do that.
That's always good then. How did you find it fighting around the Nordschleife though? I mean, I know that a lot of these guys have done endurance races, including yourself as well, and you've got to have some sort of reserved attitude to it because you think, it's a long race, it's a track where you can make so many mistakes. But I said it a lot during the stream. You guys seem to be treating it like a sprint race. It was just never ending. Was it a lot of fun?
Yeah, I mean, if you know where you can overtake and where you're at risk of crashing, then as long as you can sort of work around that, you'll be all right. But yeah, as long as everyone around you is sensible, it usually goes pretty well.
And I know that Hasse was a fan of the livery. He might have a question or two. You got anything you want to ask Fraser, Hasse?
Well, just a quick question on some of that battling. How was the mental aspect of it, battling Lewis for so long? Did you consider easing off in terms of not wanting to hurt Lewis's championship chances, or was it just a full send for that battle for second?
Well, I mean, like I say, for the first probably 6 or 7 laps, probably 6 laps, I was just literally pushing him along. I was actually pushing him to try and help him catch up more than anything. I didn't really want to be in between them. And then when I noticed the gap getting bigger and bigger, I thought, why not? I was gonna make sure I didn't knock him off or anything, but yeah, towards the end, I know that gap was too big for anyone to close. I thought we might as well I think he was the same as well. I think he slowed down a couple of times on the straights to let me through. So yeah, but like I said, I made sure not to crash into him.
Good stuff. Very good battle to watch as well, indeed. So congratulations on second place there tonight. Good stuff.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, Fraser. Awesome to watch, mate. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before you go, buddy?
Yeah, I got loads of my mates are watching today. Harry specifically asked, so shout out to Harry. Shout out to yourselves, and just everyone who's involved behind the scenes, really. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful stuff. Well done on a good season, mate. It was great to see you turn it round so strong at the end as well. And hopefully next time I see you, you'll be doing just the same.
Yeah, I'm going to try and win it next season.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, mate. You've got that full send livery. Make sure you live up to its name.
Yeah, I will do.
Cracking. Cheers, Fraser.
Yeah.
Fraser Smith there of Full Send Racing. And that does bring us to the end of the broadcast and the end of the championship. I can't believe how quickly the season's gone by. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. Hasse, just obviously your debut with us tonight in this series. It's been an amazing experience for me just to have you along and, you know, watch such incredible racing around here. How's it been for you? What's been your highlights?
The action itself, you, Chaz, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor working with you as well, and so happy to be along here on the Simracersworld TV project. So I'm really looking forward to more to come. And yeah, favorite moments from this race, that final chicane, that was a big one. We had that big 4-way scrap earlier with the 4 cars within around half a second or so. It was so close at some point as well. Maybe it was a bit more than that. But anyways, we've had really good racing. I'm even struggling to pick out one moment, but I just feel like there's been a lot of good action, and it's been my pleasure really being in with you here tonight, Chess.
Not a problem at all, thank you. It's been brilliant to have you with me. We've had a hell of a lot of fun on this one. A great way to round out the season. Miguel Freitas is your Simortal Simracersworld TCR Series champion, and Team Mad. Not forgetting Scott Malcolm as well in the same team. He has reminded me in the YouTube chat. Sorry, Scott. Scott Malcolm, Mark Woodhouse and Miguel Freitas, the 3 champions from Team Mad. And of course, Carl Jacquelet for Year 1 Racing is the AM champion as well, rounding it up last week. I've been Chaz Draycott, joined by Hasse Roma tonight, and we have had a brilliant time. This has been the Simortal Simracersworld TCR Series, and we hope to see you again very soon. Have yourselves a fantastic evening, and thank you very much for joining us.